I got accused of being on a summer schedule yesterday. Appreciate everybody coming aboard. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. We are officially 1 week out from the National Football League's draft. How you doing? I can't believe where the offseason has gone. I just can't believe where the offseason has gone. Here we are, man. And I got to tell you, this is a great way to start the program. And this is how it's done. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very, very much. And I can't thank you enough. Super chats go to the top. $20 right out of the gate. How you doing? Thank you very much. My guy Sills. You have seen Hurts play good in games, but without Moore or Vic, does Nick as a coach, would you still never how many times has anyone mentioned, wow, Nick is a great coach? Let me guess, never. Let me read this again here. My guy Sills, because this is $20 here. You have seen Hurts play good in games, but without Moore or Vic, does Nick as a coach, would you still have never won? How many times has anyone mentioned, wow, Nick is a great coach? Let me guess, never. I've never really ever heard anybody say, Daff, I've never, ever heard anyone say Sirianni's a great coach. I have never heard that before in my entire life. Hey, Senor, you go ahead and read that too, bro. Appreciate the Daff. Thank you very much. So before we get going, look at this. Tons of shit. Tons of shit. So let me ask you the question here. In 2025, was it the playbook or the play caller that was the problem for the Eagle offense a year ago? Playbook or play caller? Was it the playbook or the play caller? Yes, and the players. Well, hook me up here. Jimbo, why was it the playbook? So that's indictments on coaching, is it not? Daff, I think we're going to start it off with you, and I appreciate you, bro. Play calling was different. Okay? So, hang on. Both, the playbook was too trivial, and the play caller paid no heed to the effect on the scheme and on the players. Four tush pushes in a row. Okay. So you're saying situationally, the play caller wasn't very good. Is that right, M. Reyes? So you're saying that the play caller situationally wasn't very good. I'll buy that. Situational. Folks, the play caller, again, is the problem too, right? And he says both the playbook. So the playbook and the play caller was the problem. So let me ask you guys something. Let's go with M. Reyes' take here. Do you think that they built a playbook, and does Sean McVay build the playbook and call plays around the skill set of Matthew Stafford? Yes or no? When Sean McVay, Andy Reid, any of the great, Kyle Shanahan, any of the guys that have a playbook and a play caller, do they build the playbook and call plays based on the skill of the quarterback? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Anybody with a brain would say yes. Okay? Skill set of players. Okay? So I think we're all in agreement here. You've got to build the playbook around the skill of the player. Is that right? Sills, if Seifert and Switzer don't get credit for winning Super Bowls with Walsh and Johnson's teams, why does Tomlin get credit for Cowher's team? It's a great take. A lot of people in Pittsburgh believe this. Kyle? Okay? When get it, we get it. Jalen sucks, next topic. I'm talking about the fucking OC, jackass, that you just hired. This is where we're going. Relax, dude. Don't be so sensitive about your girlfriend. Hey, Prince, don't worry, sweetheart. We'll be gentle with her today. Don't worry, you won't have to get your little panties in a bind over your girlfriend. Let's see. So again, Sean Mannion is going to build the playbook around the skill set of the quarterback, right? Is this correct? Right? Sean Mannion is going to build this playbook around what the quarterback does well. What do you mean, no? How can you have a playbook and call plays that don't suit the quarterback? I'm sure it had nothing with any sense to it, so don't worry about it. Sills, I tell you, Josh Allen and Dak will win a Super Bowl this year. Jerry Jones is an awful GM, and so is Brandon Beane. Highly doubtful. Sills, adjusting to the offense to fit the skill of the quarterback allows for long-term success. If you go the other way, you're always riding the roller coaster, changing players like we are now. Correct. So, Bob, okay, you're going to build the playbook. You're going to take a little bit of the old playbook and this new Sean Mannion imaginary playbook that both Prince and Twiz and M. Reyes have said has been successful in the NFL, when, quite frankly, there's more cartoon books and crayon books and coloring books that are out than Sean Mannion's playbook. So he's going to draft this new playbook around Jalen Hurts' skill. So what should that look like? Let's do this. Let's build a Jalen Hurts playbook. What is the number one thing that Jalen Hurts does as a skill? What's he do the best? What do you think? Let's build the playbook, and we'll fill the plays in. What is the one thing that Jalen Hurts does well? Let's see. Run, Forrest, run. That's not a skill set. Skill set. Mobile, okay? Mobile. So we want to have multiple mobile plays. So let's ask what the skill set of the quarterback. What's the number one thing that he does? Let's go positive here. And unlike Prince, let's do the positive. What's the number one thing he does well? Sills, if we have an offense, an OC that's never called plays for a second season, so does that mean Howie is just going off of talent alone because it failed last year? Good take, Daff. And I think this is all going to go into what we're doing here, this little exercise. Runs the RPO. I agree. The number one skill set, run with RPO. Run, pass, option is the number one skill set that you should have with this playbook. Give me something else the quarterback does well. How about this? He plays well in up-tempo. Okay? Up-tempo. Up-tempo. Give me one last thing that he does well. Throws a good deep ball. Throws a good deep ball. Okay? RPO. We're building the playbook that Sean Mannion to the skill set of the quarterback. RPO does well with up tempo and throws a great deep ball. Is that all fair? Checks motion? Are you fucking nuts? He struggles in motion. Let's do now the things that he doesn't do well. He's not very good at pre-snap reads. Holds the ball too long. Doesn't allow the play to develop and bails to his right. Doesn't throw across the middle of the field. Okay. Okay, so here's the positives. RPO, up tempo, and throws a good deep pass. Let's see here. One last thing here. By the way, we're doing our mock draft today. So let me go here. Okay. So here's the playbook that Sean Mannion's making. And let's now fit it into West Coast. West Coast, short passing game. Well, Hurts is a deep passer, not a short passer. He's shown no ability in a short passing game in his entire 5 years. So West Coast offense, short passing game's out. He's shown no skill set. We're building a playbook. When did we do that? We did this exercise over, when was that? When did we ever make a playbook for Jalen Hurts and the offense? Folks, like never. He just don't want to hear where we're going here. That's the problem he got. Okay? So I'm still shocked that Nick wasn't asked about Mannion's philosophy. How or why would it match Jalen's skill set? So here, get this. So Jalen throws a great deep ball. He plays well in up tempo, and he's an RPO quarterback. He holds the ball too long. His pre-snap read stinks. He rolls to his right when pressure comes, takes sacks, and doesn't threaten the middle of the field. All those have played out in his 5 years starting. So let's take a look at what the West Coast is. Short passing game, precision passing, horizontal stretching. None of these things. So what plays are we going to run for Jalen Hurts this coming 2026 season that resemble anything in a West Coast offense? Nothing. You can't run a West Coast offense with a player that has no skill set for it. What plays are you going to run? There's no such plays that you run from the West Coast offense that fits his skill set. He's an RPO guy. He plays really well in up-tempo, and I've said that. And he throws a great deep pass. He has no intermediate passing skills. There's zero screen game that he's ever had in 5 years. He gets pressured. He held on to the ball longer than any quarterback in pro football a year ago. Get this. Ask yourself this too, also, as you build this playbook out. How can the quarterback hold the ball the longest in your offense was second in pass protection a year ago, and you were ranked 23rd in passing? And try to build a West Coast game plan around that. Help me on building this playbook that Sean Mannion's going to unveil in 4 days, 3 days. How is that possible? Follow again. The quarterback held the ball longer than any quarterback in pro football a year ago. You were ranked second in pass protection, and you were 23rd, and the year previous, you were 29th in passing. How is that possible? How are you building this playbook? This infamous playbook? You just got through telling me you build a playbook around the quarterback's skill. You call plays around the quarterback's skill. I'll give you this. Okay? I'll give you this about Kevin Patullo. His in-game play calling and his situational play calling was suspect at best. Why? Well, just like any rookie player. Got a rookie play caller. He wasn't ready for the job. How many times do you see rookies get drafted? You think they're ready to go right away? Of course they're not ready. Very few rookies you put right in there, and all of a sudden they're just game is just going to all of a sudden it's an easy transition. Well, just like in coaching, the transition on play calling, just because you're in the building doesn't necessarily mean you know what you're doing. It's a skill to be a play caller. That takes time, like being a quarterback. To sit there and assume that Mannion is going to put this game plan together to fit the quarterback's skill, and to sit there and try to tell me you're going to run a West Coast offense when the quarterback has no skill whatsoever. Tell me this. Name me one thing he does that he fits to a West Coast offense. With this new Sean Mannion playbook you're creating. Name me one thing he does. It's short passing, it's timing patterns, and you've got to be patient in the pocket. And you can't bail. Name me one thing he does that fits those characteristics of what they're going to try to do with this new offensive playbook. Sills, if I were Mannion, I'd probably reach out to McVay and inquire about how they ran the offense in Washington with RG3. Just a thought. I actually love that. What I would do is I would bring in John Gruden. John Gruden taught Sean McVay the West Coast offense. And so did Jay Gruden. McVay worked for Jay Gruden. He was on this program. He was on this program numerous times. Why are you set there running the West Coast offense? Because you hired a guy. It's West Coast. When you haven't seen him call a play, why are you so confident in that? Because of the players that they've acquired in the wide receiving and the style of play. Or why would you have fired the people in the building? You would have stayed with what you had. Dude, anybody with any brains knows this. No matter what you're going to say here, the reason you don't have a high, intelligent West Coast playbook is because the quarterback is not capable of having a high pro-styled offense. They've never had one in 5 years. Let me ask you this. How many people would say that Kellen Moore is a pretty high-level OC? Would you not agree? That Kellen Moore is a pretty high-level OC. Right? Would you not agree? He probably had his least high-level offense in 24. They just ran the ball. I know. You hired a whole West Coast offensive coaching staff. What the fuck? They hired everything opposite of Jalen's skill set. The writing is on the wall. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sills, you have to admit the offense the last 2 years sucked and people needed to get fired. Not sure why Nick is still around if he isn't helping the offense at all. Senor, according to some people in here, okay, last 2 years, you're 25-9. You're 25-9, and you're 3-1 in the playoffs. Why are you changing? Moving my daughter to San Diego, big sales. Any restaurant recommendations? Have Verbo and Del Mar. Dog, that's awesome. Yeah, man, we'll give you some. We'll give you some. There's some really great restaurants, dude. Some great pizza, too, downtown. Some just great pizza. So, hey, thank you for the super, bro. She's going to love it. How? And West Coast offense is run-heavy system. Yeah, because it relies on play action and turning your back to the offense. Very true. Very true. By the way, got to thank you guys for one thing. Thank you so much for everything you guys have done. I just got a text message from, I'm not supposed to say the exact number, Zander, but the Sports Grid show and what we've done because of this. 4 million people now watch that show. And we're very excited about it. So, I mean, everybody's really excited. And the Tampa show is now number 1, 10-1 in Tampa mid-morning drive. So we're number 1 in Tampa on the radio, and the Sports Grid show is elevated to a point where they're talking about doing something else with it. So thank you guys very much, and we appreciate that. The real question is, will we have to release or will he waive his no-trade clause? Let's not get there yet. We're not there. The Eagles know how to do business. If a contract is up in 2 years, there's no guaranteed money left, and they haven't extended you, you're probably getting traded, released, or just moving on. Eagles ran the West Coast offense with Doug, Jalen's first year. Jalen will be fine. Yeah, we'll see. Bro, the quarterback is not very good in the pocket, and the reason he was good is because he ran. Look, I'm not going to debate. Nobody in their right mind thinks that guy is going to run a Matthew Stafford offense. I'm still on the first page. I'm not even gotten to the topics yet. Eagles know. Okay, let's see here. I gave you positive. He runs a great RPO. He's great in up tempo. And he's got a great deep pass. Does that make you feel better about yourself? RC3 likes to feel better about himself. My business comment was about Hurts. They haven't given him a new deal, so he's gone. Hey, real, I agree. It's safe to say the Eagles coaching staff hasn't improved any of the players' weaknesses under Nick Sirianni. Look at each player. They still have the same issues. I think when you got A.J. Brown, I think he was underutilized in Tennessee. When you drafted Devontae Smith, he was ready to roll. The only person that's really regressed in the offense has been Hurts. Look at the passing the last 2 years. I heard Mannion's offense is a lot like Steifen. Well, that's not West Coast. Okay? But please tell us he isn't a quick strike quarterback. If you're talking up tempo, I think he's really good at it. Quick strike? Let's make a playbook for a guy who sucks. Great segment, Sills. No. I'm trying to figure out how your boy Mannion's making one. I'm confused. Okay, RC. You tell me a West Coast offense that's going to fit Jalen Hurts. I'll wait. Make this book up to fit the West Coast and Hurts' skill set. Let's go. I'd like to hear how you do it. I've played against West Coast. I've played against Joe Montana. You tell me how you're going to build a West Coast style of offense with Jalen Hurts. And I'll tell you if the kid, based on his 7 years in the league, can do it. So you tell me. Curious. Okay. First and foremost, you have to be under center. Secondly, you have to hope that your run game improves. You think Mannion is Doug? What are you doing right? You think Mannion is doing what you're doing right now? Yeah, I do. How are you making a playbook then, dude? What the fuck? Tell me what you think we're going to look at here this year. I'm asking you what you think this is going to look like. You couldn't pick that out, what we were doing here? RC, what do you think it's going to look like? Based on the guy and what he's done as a... Oh, by the way, folks, you know what we're doing as well here? He told me that one of the reasons why he'll be successful is because he played the position. Sean Mannion wasn't an RPO quarterback, so he has no idea about RPO. All he has is in theory. You tell me, having worked with Sean McVay, who worked with Sean McVay and with Jay Gruden, how this is going to look. Doug Peterson is not the coach. How is Sean Mannion going to put the playbook together? Wow. It's like talking to 4-year-olds. So, Sills, what you're saying is Hurts is not an NFL. No, I did not say that. That is not what I'm saying. How can a quarterback win so much but not be able to play in the NFL? Make it make sense. First and foremost, I never said Jalen Hurts was not an NFL quarterback. And how they won? They won by running the football the last 2 years. And in 22, he was the catalyst in running for the football. I want to show you guys something in 22. Okay? So let's go back here to 2022 and why you made the Super Bowl. So let's go to Jalen Hurts. Let's go to Hurts here and go to 2022. Okay. 2022. 60. And let's see, 13. Okay, 2024, 760. 2024, 630, and 14. Okay, let's go to the Eagles in 22. I'll show you something. Let's see here. Let's go here. 1239. And how many touchdowns? 11. Okay. And let's go over to, there you go. And let's go to 24. I'll make my point here. 2024 Eagles. And we go over to, there we go, Barkley, 2005. Okay. 760. 13 touchdowns. That's 25 TDs. 9. Okay. 2025. Okay. And in 2022, between Jalen Hurts running the football and Miles Sanders, you ran the ball for 2,250 yards and 25 touchdowns. In 2024, you ran the football for 2,600 yards and for 23 touchdowns. This past season, when Hurts went down to like 350 yards, was it? And Saquon Barkley had 1,200 yards. Your passing game couldn't carry the weight. He had 421 yards this last year. You basically have lost 1,000 yards in those two Super Bowl years. Like almost 1,300 yards and 12 or 13 touchdowns. If Jalen Hurts doesn't run, you don't win. Because Barkley covered the number in 24. They ran for 2,600 yards. In 22, they ran for 2,200 yards. When Jalen Hurts stopped running, offense went away. Why? Because the passing game has been 28th and 29th and 23. The problem is that your passing game has not been able to cover when your run game is not effective. Do you understand that? And you got beat by a JV 49ers team in the opening round, who finished third in the NFC West. I mean, the end of the day here, guy, if Hurts doesn't run, you don't win. And building a West Coast offense, you're taking the running more away from Hurts. 5-win team. I'm no offensive genius, but wouldn't you just look at what Hurts was successful doing and just copy that? Yes. Yes. So then why are you trying to build around the passing game? Thank you. You got the exercise. You just got the exercise. Why would you? Absolutely. Why would you? You could build all the playbooks you want. The bottom line is if Hurts doesn't run, I don't give a shit what you build. He's not a good enough passer to cover the deficiencies of the run game. Jalen Hurts is going to have a great year if Barkley has a great year. If Barkley has an okay year, Jalen Hurts will have an okay year. His success is based on the run game. whether it was 22 or 24. If he doesn't run and the Eagles can't run, there's no success. He ran for 400 yards last year. That's like 400 yards off of his normal. He's like 780, 760 when he was at his height. Both Super Bowl years, he ran the ball for over 700 times, 700 yards. Okay? Sills, this exercise was very basic, and it makes it very easy to see that Jalen does not fit. Thank you. Bob, not everybody's going to get this because not everybody wants to get this. That means that the front office is either ignorant or has something up their sleeve. Listen, Bob, I'm going to agree with Zander and John McMullen on this. I believe they want Hurts to come along. But if he can't, they're going to move on from him just like they did Carson Wentz. Hey, Bob, think about this. They gave Carson Wentz a $32 million annual deal. At one point, it was the richest deal in NFL history. And within a matter of 2 years, they moved off his ass. Can't accept it, Sills. I know they can't. He cannot run the West Coast offense on a day-to-day basis. I don't give a shit what you say. And in 2020, you won 4 games or 5 games. Don't talk to me about 2020 and Jalen Hurts. Sills, RPO requires the quarterback to hold the ball and control the flow of the offense. West Coast requires the quarterback to give up control and get the ball out quick. They are complete opposites. Completely true. Great question. We've actually got that topic here. By the way, let me go back because we're going to do our mock draft here in a minute. And we're going to do that. But we got a couple more questions before we do the mock draft. Let me see here. Where did I put mine? There it is, right there. Okay. So we're going to do our mock draft here in a minute. It's time to take the training wheels off. The Eagles are changing schemes, and he gets with it or he doesn't. Sills is one of those people. You're fucking A, guy. Been doing it for 40 years. Kicking the shit out of people in sports broadcasting. Yeah. You're damn right, guy. And what's cool about it, I was on the other side of the mic and played the game. How fucking great is that? You're damn right I'm that guy. Reds killed the RPO, not the Eagles abandoning it. I like that. I would agree. I think the quarterbacks are legislated differently, like Cam Newton, Michael Vick. Okay? Sills, come on. Common sense, please. I'd be more concerned with Jalen's health going into this year before I worry about whether or not Hurts can understand a playbook. Screw that, dude. I'm more concerned about him reading a playbook. Health? Welcome to the NFL. This is a litmus test for Hurts. Running quarterbacks have a short lifespan. If he can't be a pocket passer, he won't get an extension, and they'll move on. Absolutely true. All right. So, got another question for you. I would say this. Jimbo, you passed very well. I would say that half the room failed miserably. Sills, if Hurts can execute a West Coast offense, it'll be one of the most impressive turnarounds I've ever seen skill set-wise. Yes, sir. And you know what? You'll call him one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. If that guy can run that offense, you got it. Mark the date, Zander. April 16th. Okay? At 2:45. It'll be one of the greatest exhibitions of quarterbacking I've ever seen in my entire life. Hey, Jimbo, it would be the equivalent of Phillip Rivers running the RPO offense, going from a pocket passer, or it'd be like Tom Brady running a RPO offense. It would be like Brady all of a sudden taking off and running 35 yards down the field. It would be one of the greatest transformations as a player gets older in NFL history. Absolutely. And I will even say that now. Be one of the greatest examples of quarterbacking of all time. All right. So let's go here. Hell, I need another piece of paper. Okay. Got to have another piece of paper because some of the doom coughs that are in here. So here, let me go here now. Will the Eagles be as good at drafting offensive linemen without Jeff Stoutland? Yes or no? What do you think? Do you think the front office is going to be as good drafting offensive linemen without Jeff Stoutland in the building? Yes or no? Yes, because Vic said about him what Vic said about him. What did he say about him? That he was as good as Stoutland? I don't remember those words. I have no idea because I don't know the blocking scheme and traits needed. My gut says no. Oh. Nope. Stout was the O-line guru. Okay. You got to show me first. Fair enough. My point is, you're going to go into, okay, hold on here. Yes, Lane in the building, first ballot. So Lane's the offensive line coach? So wait a minute. RC3 says because Lane's in the building that they're going to draft the same way they drafted before because Lane's in the building and not Chris Cooper, the offensive line coach. Solid thinking. The quarterback has to control the O-line whether it's good or not. So you're going to go into this draft drafting an O-lineman with some of these questions? So here, look at this one here by Prince. Who knows? It's basically off the scouts, to be honest. So according to Prince, the scouts were responsible for bringing all the talented O-linemen that you've had and developing them since Jeff Stoutland was in the building. It was more the scouts, to be honest, is what he's saying, and not Stoutland at all. Is that right? Another solid take. I see Howie drafting a quarterback in next year's draft, possibly Arch Manning. Well, that means you would have to be a 4-win team because he's going number 1 overall. O-line coach has a lot to say when you have the resume of Stoutland. So, okay, well then let's just hang with the draft. according to Prince, the reason that they've landed on the offensive lineman is more to do with the scouts than it is with Stoutland. So what he's done there is say that Jeff Stoutland was lesser of a factor in picking the old line than what the scouts were, is what he said. Breaking, Vrabel expected to resign as head coach. Highly unlikely. Sills acts like the Eagles are the Browns. No. I don't act like you're the Browns. Okay? Okay? I'm not the one acting like the Browns. The Eagles are the ones. The Eagles are the ones. They're the ones. Let's see here. Let's get some brain cells. Scouts bring back the info for the coordinators, executives, and coaches to evaluate. How don't people understand this? That's a great take. Rasputin. This is exactly what happens. Do you actually think that any of the position coaches that are in the building sit around during the fall and watch college football? Very seldom do you get a chance. Why? Because you're scouting the team that you're going to play on Sunday. You don't know who's playing at North Carolina Union. You don't know who's playing at NC State. You have no idea who's playing on Saturdays. Maybe you'll get a chance to watch a player, this and that. Bledsoe goes out and finds about 500 kids. They have regional scouts. What they'll do is they'll bring in all of the players, and they'll have about 70 guys. And they turn them over to every team. Team like the Eagles will take those 70, and then their scouting department will start watching game film on them. They'll start paring it down to the top 20 players at every respected position. Then what they'll do is they'll go to the position coaches on every single NFL team. And they'll go, what's your takeaways on these guys? What's your takeaways on this guy? What's your takeaways on this? And they'll look and they'll pare it down even more to 10 players. Then they start to get their draft board. Then they start calling coaches, going to pro days, going to the combines. And that's how they start scouting guys. Then the coaches look at the player and go, that's the characteristics I'm looking at. Jeff Stoutland doesn't give a shit about the name on the back of the jersey. He cares if he has a respected skill set that fits what his offensive linemen need to do, whether they have to pull, whether they have to fan block, whether they have to slip and scoop, whether they have to zone. All that he takes into consideration on what the offensive coordinator, and especially in a place like Philly, the number one thing that the offensive line coach has to do when that guy, you heard Mark Trestman say this, as soon as you get the new offensive line, as soon as you get the new offensive coordinator, Stoutland's got to match up pass protections with the play caller. This brand new O-line coach, Chris Cooper and Sean Mannion, they have to match up. The number one thing is setting pass probe. And they got to start working together. Then they go to the scouts, and the scouts will go, here's 10 guys we think will fit the system. By the way, I've been part of this process. So you gave me shit for saying the same shit. I said it's the scouts. No. The bottom line is going to come down to the coaches. The scouts don't know shit from anything. All they know is characteristics. Stoutland's going to look at the intangibles and say, I want that guy over that guy, and here's why. What would a scout know about that type of zone blocking? If a guy does the same skill set, what would he know? He doesn't coach him. He's never coached a guy in his life. What would the scout know over Jeff Stoutland on whether a guy can fan protect or whether a guy can zone or man block better? How the fuck would he know? Being in a college offense. Because why? He watches film? Sometimes you watch film, you don't even know what you're looking at. When you're looking at, is this guy a good ball player? Does he have good feet? Is he strong? Can he protect? Get this? Okay. How do you know if he's going to be a guy fitting into your system? Because you watch him on film in a completely different offense? Guys, let me ask you this. So, when you're Lane Johnson coming out of Oklahoma, okay? You're Lane Johnson. What is the most, hey, Bob, let's see how smart these people are. What is the one unique thing about Lane Johnson and his time with the Philadelphia Eagles? Let's see how smart you're not. Let's see something here. I want to double check this. Let me double check this. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me do one more. And I got it here. Hold on. Okay. 2012. One more. Hang on for a second. Okay, 2000. Okay, exactly what I thought. What's the one thing about Lane Johnson and how he became an Eagle? Anybody know? Anybody know? What's the unique thing about Lane Johnson? When Lane Johnson became a Philadelphia Eagle, what's the unique thing about him? What do you think? Anybody? Okay. Who was the quarterback in 2012 for the Eagles? Anybody? Who was the quarterback in 2012? And what's the one unique thing about Michael Vick? What's the unique thing about Vick? He's left-handed. And what did that mean? That his blind side was going to be the right side. And so he was, in theory, the left-sided tackle on a left-handed quarterbacks. And this is why you don't see a lot of left-handed quarterbacks in pro football. Guys left-handed. The offense was built completely different for a left-handed quarterback. So Lane was a right tackle, theoretically the blind side tackle for a left-handed quarterback. They thought Vick was going to continue to progress, but then that ended up bombing and failing. So what did they do? They left him there and left him at the right tackle position. And that's when they became more of a predominantly running attack because Lane was so dominant at running the football. He was initially drafted to protect the blind side of Michael Vick. Never moved him. If he was so great, okay, they would have moved him to left tackle. They kept him there because they built a running attack and they wanted to run the football. Sills, Stout sold the traits in Mulatto. They have no film on him. Get this. Okay. Get this. I told Sills, Chip Kelly drafted Lane. Who fucking brought Jeff Stoutland into the camp of the Philadelphia Eagles, guys? Who hired Stoutland? That would be Chip Kelly. Chip hired Stoutland. And when Chip hired Stoutland, Chip hired Jeff Stoutland. End of story. So I'll ask you one more time. Do you believe you are going to be as good evaluating offensive linemen, okay, as you were before without Jeff Stoutland? Yes or no? Still, Stout saw the traits of Mulatto. They had no film on him. Stout had rugby film. He saw the left tackle inside the block of granite and chiseled away the pieces he didn't need. Correct. You tell me, do you believe in your hearts that you think you're going to be as good and that all of a sudden Juan Castillo, Howard Mudd, Jeff Stoutland, that Chris Cooper is the next in line to be the great offensive line coach when he was theoretically fired in Minnesota? Is that right? I got Vic said great things about him. I heard a lot of people talking about Sean Mannion. That doesn't mean shit to me. I don't give a shit what Vic thinks. I want to know what you've done as a resume. And so far, Chris Cooper does not have an impressive resume. Show me his impressive resume. Based on what? Seals, can you explain what type of skill set an offensive lineman would need to play in the West Coast offense? I think I heard you say the O-line, we don't have to match that type of offense. I think your two tackles can play the West Coast offense very well. I think Lane and Mulatto are perfect examples of that. I think Landon Dickerson is a guy out. I actually think Tyler Steen can play that position and play. I think Tyler Steen may actually be a better player in this system compared to the system that he was in with Stoutland. Do you understand West Coast is more finesse? It's not really power. Okay, do you think the 49ers had a power running game? They had quick hitch passes. Like, name me a running back who led the NFL in rushing. Let's take a look at Roger Craig's numbers. When he was with Montana and they were winning 4 Super Bowls. So let's take a look at Roger Craig. Roger Craig was the preeminent running back in the West Coast offense. So let's take a look at what he did. One year he had an exceptional year. I didn't realize he had 1,500 yards. But in his 11 years, he had 3 years where he went over 1,000 yards. In 85, when they won the Super Bowl, he had 1,050. Played a lot of games, too. One season, he had 1,502. In 88, they were a juggernaut that year. After that, he had 1,054. The rest of them were 800 yards, 830 yards. When they won the Super Bowl in 87, he had 815 yards. Probably would have went over 1,000 that season, but that was an NFL strike that year. So most of the time, he averaged right around 840 yards, 800 yards. He was an 800-yard guy. But this is where the guy was exceptional. Roger Craig had 92 catches for 1,016. He's the first player to go 1,000 rushing, 1,000 catching. Listen to these numbers catching the football for Roger Craig. 71 catches, 92 catches, 81 catches, 76 catches, 75 catches, 80 catches. What made him exceptional was that Roger Craig caught the the ball out of the backfield. You don't have anybody on your football team that resembles that. You have nobody like that. Nothing. That's correct. Craig was McCaffrey before. And you got to remember, intermediate passing with Montana. Joe, the thing that made Montana so great in reading West Coast, this is how they developed them. Bill Walsh told me this. I can't tell you how many times. Let me tell you this. One of the greatest lessons I ever got from a head coach was on my show one day when we had Bill Walsh when I was at KMBR 68 in San Francisco. So I had Bill Walsh on my show, and we were talking about the fundamentals of West Coast. And then I would have numerous conversations with him in his office when we covered the 49ers. I covered the 49ers. After I got done playing, I got a job out at KMBR. And all we did was sit down with Bill Walsh talking West Coast offense. I remember the most ignorant comment I ever made in my life. I said, so when you're looking at a quarterback and you see the arm strength, he looked me right in the face and he goes, you don't know anything about quarterbacking. And I said, okay, educate me. Quarterbacking is not in the arm or deep throws. The deep pass is the most overrated pass in all of pro football. Quarterbacks that win are checkdowns, intermediate passing, quick passing, getting them out. And it's all in their footwork. Hurts has horrific footwork and a horrific processing. He goes, what made Montana spectacular was that Montana would get back in his drop and Joe would just dissect the entire defense. It's the same thing Brady does. Brady's a savant at looking at pre-snap reads and knowing landmarks and all of that. If you don't have an understanding of what a defense is going to try to do to you, and you can't process that quick enough, you're constantly going to be throwing to the sidelines, never threatening the middle of the field. What was one of the great passes that Montana would beat people with? The inside slant. Rice ran the inside slant many times from the slot. And that's how they beat people. And that's what made Joe and Brady and Matthew Stafford these incredible quarterbacks. Pre-snap reads, all into footwork, having your body set, all of that. It's what makes Mahomes unconventional. Mahomes throws from different angles. It must drive Andy Reid nuts because he makes these incredible passes from different angles, and his footwork is not really the best. Montana's was spectacular. Processing and understanding defenses, this is the one thing you can't evaluate at training camp, or I should say at the combines. You don't know if a guy could process the defense is great. Brady became the quarterback because of knowledge and footwork and working on release. Brady was never a deep thrower. One year in his entire career, they were deep passers when they had Moss, and they didn't win it that year. And again, okay, well, here's the one thing here. The game is played in more space today, though. It's played in more space. JP, this is why you don't have linebackers any longer like Levon Kirkland, or you don't have Pepper Johnson. Remember those big dudes that played in the 80s and 90s? You don't see Pepper Johnson guys any longer. You see more N'Kobe Dean guys or Derek Brooks guys because those guys play in space. They're tremendous tacklers. Like, in my opinion, Cooper DeJean, he's his tackling abilities in space, I think he's a better ball player than Quinyon Mitchell. Q plays a tougher position. But Cooper DeJean's tackling ability, it's freaking off the charts. I mean, he's so good I'll tell you who else is really great. Zach Bond is special. He's a special player. This is correct. I think DB started that with the Tampa 2 type linebacker. You don't see giant linebackers any longer. Look at the kid Sonny Styles coming out. He's 6'5", he's about 240 pounds. That's a big dude, but it's a lean dude. If you can't cover today, and Fangio said it numerous times, that the game is played more in space today, and it is. It's a wide open space. Look, DeJean is such a great tackler. Is such a great tackler. Yeah, listen, you don't see that guy in the league anymore. That guy's a dinosaur. You see this guy, 215, 220, 205. Guys like that. They don't play the same position. I just got through saying Q plays a tougher position. I think DeJean's a better tackler. He's a better tackler. Now, he doesn't play the tougher position. He's not a corner. The position that Cooper DeJean plays is not outside freaking corner. He plays more like a safety than he does. Slot corner is a safety. It's the more similarities. Vic said it. Agreed, Sills. We're lucky to have them both. Dude, tremendous football players. Okay? He is just a great tackling machine. And once again, yes, Q plays the tougher position. I just think DeJean makes more critical plays in the middle. How about this? Cooper DeJean plays more in the middle of Vic Fangio's zone, does he not? He pretty much controls and patrols the entire middle zone. Does he not? Yes or no? Q's on an island. It's a tough position. I'm not dismissing that. And by the way, I think they're both phenomenal players. I think they're great players. I just think Cooper DeJean is more valuable in Vic's system than Q is. Shit, you got to a Super Bowl and won an NFC with James Bradbury. James Bradbury, okay? James Bradbury you got to a Super Bowl with. It's tough to play in the middle. Yeah, because there's more space. Q got the sidelines, does he not? When you're going man coverage, well, then again, he doesn't play man. He plays center field. Remember that. Quinyon Mitchell plays a zone defense. He doesn't ever really play man. He's not a man cover corner. Like this guy doesn't. There's no such thing as a lockdown corner in Philly. Guy plays off the ball. Now, he plays tighter because he can do it. Okay? Here. I'll read you this. Okay. Let's see here. Sills, if we needed him to play man, Q would. I think so. I didn't say he couldn't. I didn't say that. Okay? Too high safety is what? Okay? Let's see here. Let me go here. Eagles. Let's see here. I'll tell you this. The percentage of DeJean and playing in the middle of the field, he was just exceptional. One of the highest graded guys when it came to pass defense. Okay? What Sills is saying is you need a good quality zone corner. You don't have to have an elite cornerbacks in Vic's scheme. I think you have to have more quality safeties because you got to play too high. And I think if you get a pass rush, hey, Duel, ask yourself this. What settled the cornerback position down? What do you think settled down Adoree Jackson? And how Adoree Jackson started playing better the last 5-6 games of the season? They added more volume and pressure because Phillips, correct, Kyle, because Phillips came. And when Phillips started creating more pressure for the front seven, it stabilized the secondary like it did in 22. Think about it. James Bradbury got a 3-year contract extension at $11 million a year. You had 70 sacks that year. You had high volume on quarterback hits. He got a 3-year, $11 million per PBV contract based on what you did up in your front seven. That got exposed in 23 when you didn't have high volume. When the volume came down, his play came down. Basically, it was fool's gold based on the front seven of 22. What helped Adoree Jackson was when Phillips was added, the pressure started picking up. Jalix Hunt started playing better. Okay? He started playing better. Sills, Dak has said that Fangio's defense gives him more problems than anyone else. Pre and post. DFW will tell you why. Because Vic runs that bunch huddle a little bit. He doesn't tip off landmarks. DFW, do you remember the Baltimore Ravens defense? They congregate in the middle of the field with Ed Reed. And they would congregate in the middle of the field. And about 10 seconds before the snap, they would go to their positions. And then what Ed would do is Ed would give it a disguised look or step. And that quarterback would think he's reading a landmark. Ed was baiting him. Okay? Bradbury was 22. He was all pro. 23, he was out of a job because of pressure in the front seven. Yes. Pressure makes the secondary. The secondary doesn't make the pressure. I don't give a shit who you are. Here's something that you have to go through. Okay, here's what went down at 22. Say this is a pass route, and you're running it across the middle of the field. And this is 2022. Well, you see that X? Here's a guy coming off the line of scrimmage, and he's running this route. He's running this route here up, and then he's going across. The routes never get a chance to develop. You got everything in this middle zone underneath. Because why? Pressure, 70 sacks, high hits in the quarterback. Well, here's what happened in 23. Those routes developed in 23, made it harder to defend. When you get pressure on the quarterback, these routes, they don't get developed. And that middle of the zone, Cooper DeJean is a bitch because he's patrolling the middle of the zone. Well, if you don't get high pressure I don't give a shit if you got Stingley back there or if you got Quinyon Mitchell. Those passing routes get a chance to develop, and you got quarterbacks like Mahomes. Juju Smith-Schuster's going to beat you. I mean, it's common sense. The pass routes don't get a chance to develop because of pressure. Pressure's not there. They develop. Before you know it, you're chasing. When you added Phillips to your defense, it stabilized the secondary. We were walking away going like this. What the hell happened to Dory Jackson? Everyone knew what happened to Dory Jackson. Guys up front were playing better. So is Vic's scheme essentially a bait and switch? A little bit. I mean, a little bit. I mean, he'll do post-snap too. I think he did a lot of post-snap in that Minnesota game. Okay? And that Minnesota game against Wentz. One thing that came out of that Minnesota game, I know Wentz was hurt in that game. But you know what I realized about Carson Wentz in that Minnesota game? Vic was messing his head up post-snap. All of a sudden, Jalen Hurts popped up right there in the middle of the passing lane. He didn't even see him. And that was a post-snap landmark that moved inside of the zone and inside of the slant. It was so great. Epps is okay, but he shouldn't be playing. We need a draft of safety. Makuba could be prone. Hey, okay. Yeah, most of it is post-snap. Safeties rotate down. I love that. Way to go. This guy knows what he's doing. Sills, Ringo and Adoree shared the position last year. Both got demoted. I never thought in a million years all the rest of these guys in here were saying that Ringo was going to be an all-pro. I said he was dog shit. I thought Adoree was okay. Adoree in the last part of the season. Well, dude, you got the guy off the junk pile. What'd you think you were going to get? What'd you think you were going to get? You signed a garbage can. Nakuba earning the starting job didn't improve much because he had no competition. That's a good take. I'm taking a Toledo safety. There's a lot of opinion on him. Safety in the first round, I don't know. Patrolling the middle zone also makes the quarterback hold the ball longer. Dude, what was the one thing in 24 that made that Vic Fangio defense so freaking great? There was nowhere to throw the ball. Pressure was getting there. The linebackers were playing in that zone. Cooper was all over the place. There just wasn't a lot of places to throw the ball in that zone. Just tremendous. It was like, I mean, it shrunk. In 2025, the zone was bigger. And that's why more teams had success on you in the passing game. Now, that started getting better towards the end of the season. You know, the thing that was a little disappointing about the Eagles' defense last year, you were still 17th in rush defense. That's not good enough. I don't know how Jordan Davis got a contract extension based on the fact that your run defense was worse than it was a year ago. I mean, your run defense was 16th. Your pass defense actually got better, and he's a two-down player. You were 16th. You were in the middle of the room. You weren't special at stopping the run. You know, you got better in pass defense because you got better ball players back there. Again, you were not very good at stopping a run. You were okay. Only reason I'd risk safety in first round is because I see the draft week at the top. Maybe. I see too many milk bag linemen being mocked in the first round. I'm not interested in an average guard or tackle. Okay? Well, Prince says Carter didn't show up. Okay, Carter didn't show up, and Jordan's a first and second down player. Guy played, how many snaps did he play on third down a year ago? So let's take a look at that. How many snaps did Jordan Davis play on third down last year? Let's see. How many snaps did Jordan Davis play? I don't even know. On third down in 2025. He played 87 snaps. And he played 686 snaps, a career high. 87 of those, think about that. He played career snaps, 686. And he was on third down a little over 80. I don't know. Compressed the defense to the center of the field. Jordan lost the weight, increased his endurance and speed. He's still a two-down guy. I will not tolerate JD slander. Yeah, well, it's not slander, it's reality. 87 snaps out of 686 snaps. And he's a two-down guy. Plain and simple. You don't like facts? Sorry. Sills, I'm not talking any Jordan Davis slander from you, or taking any Jordan Davis slander from you. How he showed up, homie showed up. He played 87 snaps out of 686. He's a two-down guy, and your defense run game was 16th last year. Those are facts. He outplayed Milton last year. How you doing? Milton was in the Super Bowl, and Milton Williams is a better ball player. And Milton Williams is a three-down guy. He can play multiple and versatile positions. Homie, according to Prince, is a one-dimensional player. He's a nose. 77 of those snaps were third and less than 3 yards. Thank you, Rasputin. Probably. I trust him more than Carter. Absolutely. So, Zander's going to join us in a couple minutes. Adam Kaplan's going to join us at 5:30. And we're going to talk to Adam Kaplan. So I got a question here. When do you replace Lane Johnson with a draft pick? A high draft pick? This year or next year? Right now. Okay? So, Brian, you're going to put him on the bench, right? I'm not benching Steen for a guy that's going to be drafted outside of the top 3 guys. I'll make a point to you. Anybody that you draft in the draft outside of the top 3 offensive linemen will not be better than Tyler Steen. They will not be better than Tyler Steen. So put that into proper context. Just because you think you draft a guy in the first round at 23 doesn't mean he's a legitimate first-round pick. General managers are saying there's probably 13 guys in this draft that are legitimate first-rounders. So before you go, well, the guy at 23 will start right away. How do you know he's better? He won't have the experience. He wouldn't have put the time in. And they are not benching Tyler Steen. And I'm not even telling you Tyler Steen's a frontline offensive guard. But just because you're picking one at 23, you're assuming that that guy at 23 is a first-round legitimate pick. he might have the same skill set as a third rounder, which, by the way, Tyler Steen was a third rounder. First mock draft was Proctor. Second was Sadiq. I'm thinking it's an offensive guy or edge. So if you're going to draft a guy in the opening round and you're going to take an offensive lineman, most likely he's not playing this year. Okay? See this here, Emrayes? Either he's a bust or a generational player. That's what you're that's what you're drafting. You're right. Whereas Steen, right now, I've seen him play. That's a for sure thing. According to Emrayes, he's either hit or miss, or maybe decent. Which decent puts you on the bench. And remember when you drafted a generational talent? Guys, remind Emrayes, where was Lane Johnson drafted? What pick was he taken? Anybody? Where was he picked? What was the draft pick for Lane Johnson when he was taken in 2013? What was he taken? He was taken 4th overall, was he not? 4th overall versus the 23rd player taken in a weak draft? Good luck. Yeah, if there's nothing left at 23, then I pivot to another position. But Lane will get hurt this year. He's old as fuck. That pick will get snaps over Fred. Are you sure about that? Okay. We got Kelsey in the 6th round. Well, then why not go get Lane's pick and future in the 2nd or 3rd round instead of wasting it on the 1st round? Okay, JP. I'll take Lane's replacement in the 2nd or 3rd round. Okay? Okay. I agree. We forgot Davis plays special teams too. I don't know what that's got to do with playing 3rd down. Higher percentage chance of a better player at the top of the draft. Actually, I think there's a better chance of hitting on a player at the bottom of the draft, in the bottom of the 1st round, because you're going by best player available versus going by, well, look at the board. What do you think you have a better chance on, Brandon? Taking the best player available at 23 or taking players at the top of the draft where you have a collection and you have multiple needs and you're looking going, do I take this guy, that guy, this guy, or this guy? Or at the bottom, you get more people. Why do you think the 49ers and the Patriots always had more success at the bottom of the 1st round? And all those guys traditionally mostly hit because it was best player available. So if you're going to take Lane Johnson and get his replacement, he doesn't have to be a 1st round pick. You don't have to, unless you're going to go up and get Magawa or the Utah kid. I'd sit and trade back. Maybe one of those guys fall in the 2nd round. I tried to explain to you. You're looking at the names too much in the back of the jerseys instead of the skill set. These guys are all the same, man. From pick 13 to pick 60, they're the same dude. Same guy. See, here's the thing with this Vega kid. Okay. If you draft an offensive tackle and he bombs, you can move him to guard. If Vega bombs a guard, he's out. He's out. Can't really move him anywhere. Howie will get calls about moving back. It happens every year when teams want that fifth-year option for a particular player. Personally, I think the issue is going to come down to this. Is Ty Simpson, is he going to go is he going to go ahead of the Eagles? You got to hope Ty Simpson goes ahead of the Eagles. And you got a little chaos. Okay? And you got a little chaos. Little chaos. That's where I think. All right. Where in God's name did the offseason go? Holy piss. We got a week to the NFL draft. This is insane. It really is. By the way, Adam Kaplan at 5:30. This is insane, dude. And what shakes out here is going to be crazy. Okay. So without further ado, I can't wait to see how by the way, in 3 days, the coaches are going to get an opportunity. Okay? Let's read this here before we get Big Z on here. By the way, thank you. Sills, you're the man. You're one of a favorite channels to watch. I'm not even an Eagle fan. Keep on rocking, man. Much love from Texas. I need to send Zander some money so he can go buy more fancy sodas. Zander and them fancy sodas, they piss me off every time I see him. He's got they're like these little specialty cranberry sodas and shit. Look at me, man. I'm just a meat and potatoes kind of guy, man. I just Coca-Cola, I'm a simple fella. Without further ado, I guarantee you right now he's probably drinking Perrier. Without further ado, my man, Big Z, Zander Krause, he joins us now. How you doing, bro? What's going on?
What's up, Sills?
Perrier? Is that on the menu too?
Yeah.
More fancy. Look at this fancy water here. Look at this, man.
Dude, it's hot out today, man.
Oh, good for you.
It's been hot out all week, man.
Good.
It's been hot out all week. What's up with you and my drinks? Your Coke's probably caught, I mean, what are you?
Man, dude, the fancy drinks, though, man. I don't know where. So, do you buy them at a specialty store?
No.
They go buy it? No?
Yeah, you do. Dude, so can you please tell this guy? I don't know what. I mean, I know he's never stepped foot in a grocery store, but
no. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
I mean, I don't go very much either.
No. Hey, do you know where the salt is? Yeah, no.
Jacob, thanks for the super, brother.
Yeah, no.
I'll go pick up a fresh drink for tomorrow's show with it.
Yeah, that's not happening here, man. All right, Big Z. So you want to draft an offensive lineman in the first round?
Oh, yeah.
You think you're going to be as good evaluating first rounders without Jeff Stoutland?
Do I think they're going to be as good, you said?
You can always tell when he has to restate the question again, how he doesn't want to answer the question.
That's not true. That's not true.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in that just yet. I mean, we got to see what Cooper is. But I like that Vic gave him a show of support, or apparently liked him. But this dude's following up a legend. It's going to be pretty hard. Look, at the end of the day, though, what do you believe was more integral to the Eagles' offensive line in the last decade? Was it Jeff Stoutland, or was it the quality of players that they put on the line?
So are you going to give the scouts more credit?
No. Well,
they got to get some credit.
Because but they do. But in cases like Mekhi Becton, that's Jeff Stoutland. In cases like Landon Dickerson rotating and Cam Jurgens playing guard year one and center year two, that's Jeff Stoutland. And Jordan Mailata developing into a perennial All-Pro, that's Jeff Stoutland. But at the end of the day, he can't do that without the clay. You know, he needs good clay. So we'll see what Cooper can do, but they got I think more importantly, they got to get a good player, you know, get a damn good player here. And I think that's most important.
Why wouldn't you go in the second round to get a offensive lineman? Why does he have to be in the first round?
Well, they've taken most offensive linemen recently in the second round. Landon Dickerson was a second rounder. Tyler Steen was third. Cam was second. Lane was first, obviously, a long time ago. And Mailata was seventh. They haven't taken a first-round O-lineman in quite a long time.
13. No,
Dillard, right?
Dillard.
Yeah. Was that
Dillard.
17 or 18 or something? Yeah.
Like Dillard was a first-round pick. Yeah, because you know what? To me, I don't know, man. I mean, this Chris Cooper dude evaluating offensive linemen and picking the right guy.
I don't think Howie's letting him evaluate in terms of picking the guy. I really don't. You know, John tells that story often of when Howie apparently wanted Justin Jefferson, and it was the coaching staff and the other people who wanted Jalen Reagor, and Howie's like, if I'm taking all the shit anyway, I'm gonna be the last guy to make the decision. So I think he's done letting people look, and he's been pretty good. I don't know how much he lets people dictate who to draft or not.
So do you think a year ago it was the playbook or the play caller that was the problem with the Eagle offense?
Well, I think it was I don't think the play caller did good within the playbook, but I think the bigger picture problem has been, the playbook. I mean,
So
to me, it's the quarterback.
The playbook's the bigger problem.
Yeah, to me, the quarterback is a problem for trying to evolve the offense past what it was with a great running game.
Okay.
And that, to me, is the playbook.
I heard John say this a couple weeks ago, and you tell me if you subscribe to it. John says that really the playbook hasn't all changed that much.
No, it hasn't. But again, if the playbook wasn't big to begin with, and Jalen Hurts runs less now than he ever ran, like that playbook is slowly getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That's why last year I think it was so clogged up. I mean, John doesn't agree with me on this. I don't think the run game would have struggled as much last year if they were able to throw the ball better.
I don't think the passing game would have struggled as much if Jalen Hurts ran more.
I agree 100%. I've said that.
I don't think it had anything. The 2 years you went to the Super Bowl, you want to hear this, Zander? 22 and 24. You ran the ball for 2,200 yards between Miles Sanders and Hurts, and you had 25 touchdowns. The year you won the Super Bowl, you had 2,600, and you had 23 touchdowns. If Hurts doesn't run the ball, your offense doesn't work.
Well, that's part of what made him a dynamic player. That's why I don't understand why he wouldn't want to do that. Now, maybe, there's a sense of confidence that most great players have where, they feel like they could do anything. John talked about that a little bit this week. And I thought that was a good point. But Jalen should know, like, he torched the league in 22 because he was doing it both ways. If you wanted to take away his running game, he was able to throw the ball. And if you wanted to take away the throwing of the ball, he was going to kill you with his legs.
Backbreaker.
So I don't, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me why Jalen wouldn't want to do that anymore. I guess from a longevity standpoint, but you can't take away one of your best skill sets. That doesn't, Sills, hey, Sills, you can't hate on Jalen Hurts anymore. Take away the fastball, baby.
That's right. You know what? You know how you could do that? Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Get rid of who?
Hurts.
They're not going to get rid of Hurts. Not yet.
Get rid of him.
I told you yesterday, though, if Hurts doesn't have a good year, it's probably his last year. Because he doesn't have the guarantee money. So it's kind of, assuming they don't pay him this summer, it's already built in. It's not opinion. It's not up to me. You can get mad at me all you want. I'm just delivering you the news. If they don't pay Jalen this summer and he doesn't have a good year, it's more likely than not that he would request a trade next summer.
So, speaking of Lane, would you get Lane's replacement today or next year?
I would get it now. I think Lane has 1 year left. How many offensive linemen are you going to be able to get in the draft next year that are ready to play in day one? I mean, unless you think we're picking top 5.
You're picking at 23. What do you think you're going to get
I'm talking about next year.
Yeah, well, you're probably going to be in the same conversation next year at 23.
Well, not according to your win-loss record.
Oh, no, you'll probably be picking near 12.
Mr. Sills.
Yeah.
Yes, Wayne Johnson replaced. What are we waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Because
what,
I don't think you're going to get a guy there at 23.
Caden Proctor?
I don't think you're going to get. Wait. So you're going to get Proctor at 23, a power guy, and not really.
How about Blake Miller? You don't like Blake Miller?
The Clemson kid?
Yeah, guy's played like 60 games, dude. John told me he played 3,500 snaps at right tackle so far in his career.
So that guy from Michigan.
Who's that dude?
The guy you drafted in the 3rd or 4th round, whatever that guy was.
No, he was.
I liked.
Oh, Trevor Keegan.
He was the captain of the Michigan team.
I liked him too. Too. Yeah,
I thought he was going to have some juice there, but he didn't.
No, he didn't. I talked that guy up like he was a first rounder.
Me too. I'm disappointed that guy.
I think I fell for it because of you, actually.
Probably. All right, Big Z. I'm going to do my Big Sills final mock draft 2.0.
Are you doing trades in this?
Full 32. Okay.
Right. Do you want me to do it alongside you or after you?
Sure. If you want, you can go pick any way you want. Here we go.
Take one. Wait. I can pull it up on the screen. You want me to pull it up? Sure. Or no, you want your big mug to be on the screen?
Let's see here. I don't care.
All right, round 1. Here we go. Here we go. Where's the Dallas fans in here? Sure, we got some of them.
You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. Go ahead. We got pick 1. Here it is. There you go.
With the first pick in the National Football League's 2026 draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana Hoosiers.
That's pretty simple.
Number 2.
Start draft, Mendoza.
New York Jets select Arvil Reese, Ohio State, edge rusher, junior. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals select Francis Mugawa, Miami, offensive tackle. In a shocker, at number 4, the Tennessee Titans select Reuben Bain, Miami Hurricanes.
What? Wait, who'd you have 2? I was making this new screen. 2 you had who? Arvil Reese. Who'd you have 3?
Francis Mugawa.
Francis. That's a Miami slant right there. And 4, you had Reuben, another Miami slant. How about that? 2 back-to-back Miami slants for Sileo. Unbelievable.
Tennessee. At number 5, the New York Football Giants select Spencer Fano, Utah, junior, OT. At number 6, the Cleveland Browns select Carnell Tate.
Ooh, Carnell Tate off the board at number 6.
Ohio State Buckeyes, wide receiver. At number 7, from the Washington Commanders, they select Texas Tech's David Bailey. Edge rusher. At number 8, the New Orleans Saints select Jordan Tyson, Arizona State wide receiver.
What a trash can selection.
Number 9, the Kansas City Chiefs select Keldrick Falk, edge rusher, Auburn Tigers. At number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals select Caleb Downs, Ohio State, safety. At number 11, the Miami Dolphins select Mansour Delaney, LSU, cornerback. At number 12,
You're giving them love, aren't you?
the Dallas Cowboys select from Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love, running back.
All right.
At number 13, the Los Angeles Rams select Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson to the Rams.
I got to scroll a little bit to find Ty. There he is. There's Ty. How is Sonny Styles still on the board?
At number 14, the Baltimore Ravens select Micaiah Lemon, wide receiver, USC.
Dude, this is a trash draft.
At number 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select to replace Levante David, Sonny Styles.
Oh, that's why you left Sonny Styles on the
Ohio
board.
State.
So you could magically put him in Tampa Bay. He's not falling to 15. Go ahead.
Number 16, the New York Football Jets select Lee Hunter, D-line, Texas Tech. Senior.
Who?
At number
Hunter.
At number 17, the Detroit Lions select Monroe Freeling, Georgia, offensive tackle. At number 18, the Minnesota Vikings select Jeremiah McCoy, Tennessee, cornerback.
They need a safety.
At number 19, the Carolina Panthers select Caden McDonald, Ohio State Buckeyes, defensive tackle. At number 20, the Dallas Cowboys select C.J. Allen, Georgia, linebacker.
Who gave you this trash draft?
At number 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Alabama OT, Caden Proctor, number 21. At number 22, the Los Angeles Chargers select, I can't say it, Vega Leone? Ione, okay. Penn State O-line Chargers.
That's folks, if the draft board goes this way, we're looking good.
At number 23, we pause. At number 24.
Whoa!
I'll go back. At number 24. Actually, I'll go do it now.
I can't skip.
At number 23. The Philadelphia Eagles will select Kenyon Sadiq, Oregon, tight end. At number 23. At number 24, the Browns select Cassius Howell, edge, A&M. At number 25, the Chicago Bears select Zion Young, edge, Missouri. At number 26, the Buffalo Bills select wide receiver KC Concepcion, A&M. At number 27, the San Francisco 49ers take Clemson's Peter Woods, D-line. At number 28, the Houston Texans select Zachariah Branch, wide receiver, Georgia. At number 29, the Los Angeles Rams select Caleb Lomu, OT, a Utah. At number 31, the Denver Broncos select Denzel Boston, Washington, wide receiver. At number 31, the New England Patriots select Hakeem Messidor, University of Miami, edge rusher, 31. At number 32, the Seattle Seahawks, the defending Super Bowl champions, select Chris Brazil, the Suckland, Tennessee, wide receiver. And there is the Big Sills 2.0 NFL mock draft.
Congratulations. That was the worst mock draft I've ever seen in my life. Here it is, folks.
And guess what, folks? He said, and now everyone's on Big Sills' page when it comes to Kenyon Sadiq.
This mock stinks.
Look at all the Miami guys in the first round.
Here's a Sileo right here. Great draft, Sills.
Thank you, Bald Bear. Thank you, man.
You're a Sileo Bald Bear. It's a shit draft.
That's a spectacular draft. Look at all those great players. Well, who do you got? I'd like to hear yours.
I got to make it. You want me to do it for you on the fly?
Yeah.
Let's rip it. Let's rip it. Let's do all teams. Enter draft. Start draft. Number 1, Fernando Mendoza. Number 2. Ooh, do I go David Bailey? I'll go David Bailey at number 2. Number 3, Cardinals. I think they're going to end up trading out. But they'll probably go. What do they need? They need a tackle, don't they? Let's go Francis Mogiai. I'm going J Love to the Titans. Jeremiah Love. Giants.
O-line? D-line.
I was going to go Arvell Reese.
How many edge rushers are they going to get there? They got Kayvon Thibodeau. They've got
wait.
Abdul Carter.
Yeah, no, they don't need Arvell.
And they got Brian Burns. How many more edge rushers are they going to get, dude? They don't need guys like that.
Yeah, 6'4", 240. Sonny Styles.
Dude, they need O-line help.
I know, but who'd you take for them? I should have saved the picture of who you took. I'll go Spencer.
I've got an OT. I've got Spencer Fano.
Yeah, there you go. I'll give Spencer. I'm fine with Spencer. All right, the Browns.
They stink there.
The Browns, oof.
I got Carnell Tate there.
Yeah, I like that, actually. I like that.
For Shador.
Yeah, I'll go Carnell Tate. You think Shador is going to start there?
I do. Let me ask you this, and it's a good question you just asked. You think there's anybody coming out after Mendoza that could beat him out in the draft? You think there's anybody that could beat out Shador Sanders? Like if Shador Sanders were drafted in this draft, you think he'd be a first rounder? I do.
I don't.
If Tyson,
I thought Shador was going to be a first rounder a year ago or a second rounder.
So you think Ty Simpson's better than him?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, go ahead.
You're sleeping on that.
I got him in the first round of the Rams.
I know. Where'd you have him going?
I had him going to the Rams.
Ty Simpson? That's right.
Yeah, I got Ty at 13 going to the Rams. That's the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford.
This first rounder stinks, by the way.
I don't think it's a great draft after 13 players.
No, it's really not. It's not a very good draft.
That's why I keep asking you at 23, why would you want an offensive tackle that's a marginal dude at first round anyway? You could get him in the second or third. He's the same guy. I'm not wasting a first round pick.
All right. Well, who does Washington needs? Probably I'll go Arvell Reese there. They need some edge help. Saints.
I had David Bailey there.
Yeah. Well, David Bailey's going to be off the board, I think. At least I think. Saints, they need some D-line help too. Do you go Reuben Bain there? How far do you think Reuben Bain falls?
My board, he went 4. So, I mean.
Am I frozen?
A little bit.
My damn internet sucks again.
No, you're good now. You're good now. I got a wide receiver in there because, you got an offensive-minded coach. That's why I went Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson.
You got to think about the coach that's there too.
Dude, I'm going Reuben Bain there. They need edge.
All right.
Kansas City's going to take Kenyon Sadiq.
I've got Keldrick Falk.
Yeah, that was a terrible pick. Terrible selection.
Mm-hmm.
These guys might take Vega. Bengals. Miami, they need wide receiver, guard, defensive back. Go Miami. Hey, did you take the lane there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick, I think. The Cowboys. Ooh,
Jordan Love.
You went, yeah.
Jeremiah Love.
Huh?
Jeremiah Love, I have there at 12.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love's off the board for me already. He went to the Titans at 4. Who do they go here? Do they go Caleb Downs or do they go Sonny Styles?
I wouldn't have a problem with them going Styles. But
I'm going Styles.
But Downs is the more critical position, corner.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Downs is a better player.
LA. What wide receiver fits what McVay likes to do the best?
That Lemon kid from SC.
Yeah, is that who you put in there? You didn't put him there.
No, I put Ty Simpson there.
Jordan Tyson. I kind of like Jordan Tyson, but he's all right. None of these guys are all that great. I'll go Lemon. Ravens. Oof. Ravens
I got Lemon. I got Lemon there.
Okay, so we switched. I'll go Tyson there. Oh, Tampa Bay.
Sonny Styles, linebacker.
Styles is off the board. Tampa Bay.
Need a linebacker. Linebacker, safety, corner.
Is that why who'd you choose here? You chose
Sonny Styles.
That's not happening. Sonny Styles isn't falling to the Bucks, I don't think. Holy shit. You know what's great about the draft this year is that it can go 400 different ways.
Oh, yes.
Silio's goofy ass round 1. That could still happen. And now I'm doing one. This is goofy as hell. My goofy ass round 1. I'm doing one with Johnny Mac, by the way, tomorrow.
Oh, my God. John's relented in doing one?
I told him we're doing one tomorrow. They don't need a safety? No.
Yeah, they need a safety. They need a safety, edge, and corner.
All right, we'll give him Caleb. New York Jets. See,
I've got Lee Hunter, defensive line at Texas Tech.
I think the Jets could swoop in and take Ty Simpson.
The reason why I went Hunter is because they got rid of Quinnen Williams. They need to stop the run.
Lions are going Monroe Freeland.
I got that one.
Vikings are going Dylan Thieneman. They need safety.
I got McCoy.
Panthers, see, they just drafted a first round wide receiver last year, so I don't think they're going that route.
I got Caden McDonald, the D lineman from
I like that actually.
Ohio State. And this is where I went with the Cowboys at 20. I went linebacker here, the kid from Georgia, C.J. Allen.
Yeah, I didn't love those picks, but now I see why you did it. I go Caden McDonald for the Panthers. Cowboys. Who do we choose for the Cowboys already? Sonny Styles.
I got Jeremiah Love. I got Jeremiah was a bullfrog love.
They're going Jeremiah McCoy.
I got CJ.
That would actually be a good pick for them. Steelers. I could see taking Ty Simpson too. If
I got Caden Proctor there.
Yeah, I could see that.
I like that Ty Simpson. I like that Ty Simpson thing. I like that.
Yeah, I had him going to the Jets, but I could see him falling here. Yeah, that's going to be a tough spot to get Caden Proctor past all these teams. Chargers.
I got the Penn State O-lineman going there.
Yeah, I have him off the board. I think that guy's really good.
And there's here it is.
Safety's going round 1. That's not happening.
23, Philadelphia Eagles. Zander Krause at 23. Who you got, Junior?
Relax. Relax. It's stiff. Go through the ones here. They need defensive line. Eagles. Give me Blake. Give me Blake Miller for the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys see why I want to trade up, right? You guys gonna want Blake Miller in round 1? I actually like Blake Miller.
No fucking way. Blake Miller is the 4th best OT in the book. Give me a break. I'm not doing that.
I know you're not. Who'd you take?
Get Blake. I could get
You
Blake.
created a fairy tale land.
I could get Blake Miller in the 2nd or 3rd
There's
round.
no fairy tale land where Kenyon Sadiq falls to.
Kenyon Sadiq, number 23.
He's not falling to 23. You know it and I know it.
To the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, we got the stiff Browns on the clock. Didn't we already make a pick for them?
Cassie had to get 2, though. Cassie is Howell. I got there at 24.
Nah, they need an offensive lineman, even though there isn't any left.
Another one of those 5th best stiff O linemen.
Yeah, I could see them doing that, though.
Yeah,
we already picked the wide receiver. Didn't we already pick Carnell Tate for him?
Yes.
Oof. This is a crapshoot here at the end here.
Let me, before you make this pick here for the Browns, do you think if they take an edge rusher, do you think there's a chance post June 1 they could trade?
Yeah. In fact, I'll give them Mesidor. Bears need offensive line help. Ooh, that's brutal for them.
Think about that, Z. Keep an eye on that in the draft next week. If the Browns select an edge rusher, they could move Myles Garrett.
I'll go Keldrick Falk here.
I got the Chicago Bears with Zion Young.
Yeah, I'm going Keldrick Falk, and then I'll go Zion Young here. Actually, I'll go Cassius Howell here to the Bills. San Francisco, they need offensive line, don't they? San Francisco is going to need offensive line. They'll go Max Iannico.
I got Peter there, Clemson.
The Texans, they need some defensive help. What else? No, they don't really. Their defense was crazy.
They need wide receiver help.
Yeah, didn't we already take somebody for them?
No. I took the kid.
Running back. They need defensive line, I thought they did need D-line.
A little bit D-line. They could go O-line here.
No, D-line too. I think in the interior of their D-line, they're a little weak.
Yeah.
Running back, safety, guard, defensive interior. That's right. That's what it says there. All right, let's go. Who did you pick for them?
I've got Zachariah Branch.
Wide receiver. I'll go Denzel Boston. All right, Chiefs, excuse me.
No, the Rams. 29, the Rams.
29's not the Rams.
What's 29?
They just traded it to the Chiefs for the cornerback.
Okay. What do you got there, 29?
29 is the Chiefs. So they're going to need edge help too, aren't they?
I think they're going to need O-line help.
They're definitely going to need O-line help. They're going to need corner help too, aren't they? They just traded away their corner. They just traded for him, didn't they? Yeah, they traded for him.
No, they traded McDuff away.
Yeah, McDuffie to the Rams, right? That's why they had to pick. Yeah, give me Avion Terrell there. All right, Dolphins again. Holy shnikes. Who do we pick for them? We picked the lane. They need a wide out. Omar Cooper, KC. Who's their new coach? Halfley?
Yes.
Who's their OC? Who did he hire? Was it Todd Monken? Who did he hire?
No, Monken's the head coach in Cleveland.
Oh, right. Who'd they hire?
Who's the OC there? Dolphins.
Bobby Slowick.
Okay.
Bobby Slowick.
Well, do this, Zander. Think about the offense he ran in Houston. That's the kind of offense they're going to run in Miami.
Yeah. Dolphins here is kind of a brutal one. Who do we pick again?
How about
we already picked a corner, so they got their corner. A guy gave him Mansour Delane.
How about would you go down there, Dylan Thielman, that kid from
I already
Oregon?
put him. I put him at 18 because what's his name? The Vikings need a
That's right.
Dolphins. I'll give him Omar Cooper. I'm not a big fan of Omar Cooper, but Patriots. Ooh, interesting here. Patriots.
Akeem Messidor, University of Miami.
You think he falls that far?
Yeah.
See, I don't. I'll go Zion Young here. I like Zion Young.
Let me
I
ask
watched
you this.
him a lot in
If
the
Akeem
SEC.
Messidor is there at 23, would the Eagles take him? Or is he too old?
I don't think the Eagles will take him.
Too old?
Where's that other running back? Isn't there a second? Here he is.
Yeah, it's Price from Notre Dame.
Price from Notre Dame. All right, that's my draft. Not much better than yours. I took a shit on you, but my draft stinks too.
The players
My draft. Take a picture, everybody. That's probably what you're going to see next Thursday night.
I think the draft sucks.
Take a picture, everybody. That's what you're going to see next Thursday night right there.
I think that, I mean, listen, I don't even think Mendoza. I think Mendoza is a third round talent. Let's see here. I go here's who I would say.
Mendoza's not a third round talent, is he?
If Arch Manning was in this draft, he'd go number 1 overall.
Yeah.
You watch.
Well, yeah, because he's got the name.
He's got a better skill set. Can run better. Can throw better. I mean, the dude had 35 touchdowns last year. You make it sound like he sucked.
Here, let's do this.
I got another question for you.
Go ahead.
Should the Eagles draft a quarterback in the top 3 rounds?
No, because all the quarterbacks are stiffs.
Well, everyone thought Jalen Hurts was a stiff when he went in round 2.
Here, we'll go. Let's go consent. Can we go consensus?
Sure.
All right. Enter. Let's see what hand it deals us. Ready? All right, so this is what it dealt us. Yeah, I'm taking Blake Miller again, folks. Mendoza, Bailey, Reese, Mogiai, Downs, Tate, Love.
These are bums.
No, they're not. Mansour, Delane, Sadiq. So everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. Every tackle's gone.
I'm trading out of that. I'm trading out of the first round.
You're not going to be able to trade out, guy. You're going to take what you get.
If those are the names.
Oh, Ty
Simpson.
Oh, Ty Simpson to save the Philadelphia Eagles from offensive misery. Let's take them. There you go. There you go.
First round 23. My God.
Incoming all the Jalenite tears.
Hey,
I'm
Taylor,
just kidding, everybody.
Hey, Zander,
it's just
if they
fun.
took that guy in the second round, if he falls to the second round, do you think the Eagles would take him if he's there?
Who, Ty?
Yeah.
In the second round, maybe. He's not falling that far, though. Guys, I'm just kidding. Relax. All right, we did it again. We did it again. We still got Keldrick Falk, Blake Miller, Caden Proctor. I'll take Caden Proctor. I think I'd take it. Would you take Caden Proctor or would you take Blake Miller?
Proctor, because he played against better people.
Blake Miller played pretty good for a long time, bro.
Yeah, he played in Clemson against Duke. Wake Forest. You build bombs and debate teams at Wake Forest and Duke.
I know what you do.
Okay. At Alabama, you play in the Iron Bowl.
Give me Proc City.
Yeah.
There you go.
Blake Miller. He started 30.
Look, they told me you drafted Proctor. You should have drafted Keldrick Falk. Shut up, PFF.
Okay. Tell me who I should put in there. Kenyon Sadiq.
He does it doesn't matter what I said. Kenyon Sadiq doesn't make it to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Kenyon Sadiq.
Let's do. We'll do fast. We'll do care for positional value. Let's do more. Draft for needs. Let's go more. All right, now let's see. Oh, he's off the board. I know it. There he goes at 21. And the
Howie will trade up.
And the Eagles are once again left with Proctor, Miller, Lomu, Mesidor,
21?
Parker, Boston. Terrell.
Howie would trade up 2 spots to get his ass.
Oh, Ty Simpson's still there. I
Because
think they're going Proctor here.
Even the simulator knows that Hurts is a stiff.
What about Caleb Lomo?
What?
What about Caleb Lomo?
Another guy. Another dude. These guys
Lomu is a well-built ascending talent. You guys ever catch yourself reading draft stuff and you're like, yeah, this is some Diddy type conversation.
Yeah, it is.
Compared talking about like lengths and all
sturdy,
it's like weird, dude. It's
sturdy
odd.
Lower body in your
yeah, it's
easy
weird.
guy.
All right, I'll go Proctor. Now we just did Proctor. Yeah, give me Lomu.
Kenyon Sadiq.
There you go. Caleb Lomo.
Kenyon Sadiq.
Take your pick, folks. Who do you like? Who do you like?
Here. Put Ty Simpson in there. See what happens.
I just
pick him at. Okay. All right.
That's it. New mock. Eagles.
My God, would that be unreal content if they drafted Ty Simpson at 23? I would faint.
Oh, he went at 21 in this one.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is even worse, guys. If this happens, if Ty goes, Proctor goes, so you're left with Mesidor, Cooper, Blake Miller, Caleb Lomo. I mean, this is a catastrophe.
What a draft. Holy shit. This is going to be so good.
Ready? Blake Miller. Welcome to Philadelphia, my friend. There he is.
The old Clemson OT. Congratulations to you, number 23, Blake Miller. What was that game like when you played against Tennessee Chattanooga?
Hey, let me do this. PFF. Let's do max, turbo, fast. All right, go ahead. Let's see who we end up with here. Same shit. Take Proctor. Is what's his name off the board already? There he is, Ty Simpson.
My God Almighty,
We should have drafted Mesidor. It says F. They gave us an F for the pick.
What was the grade for my pick? For Kenyon Sadiq?
There's not a single mock that we've done where Kenyon Sadiq makes it to the Eagles. Don't you understand?
I want to see wait a minute. I want to see what my grade is.
I can't pick them. All right. I can do every team. I don't want to pick every team for every team though.
No. Damn.
There's no world that exists where Sadiq is going to get to 23. You want to trade up for him? Chris Franklin said trade up
to 21.
He's gone again. He's gone
at
again
21?
At 20 to the Cowboys, which is not realistic.
Yeah, they're not good. But how high do you think that they would trade for a player that they like?
I don't know. 18?
Try 18.
I don't think they're going to be able to trade. Where do I redo this?
How far up would they have to trade to get him?
Nobody wants Miller?
Dude, they really like Mesidor to the Eagles.
Here, let's do a 7-rounder. You ready? It goes quick.
Sure.
Let's go. Positional value. All right. Enter. Start. All right. 23. Here's where we are. You got Blake Miller, Cassius Howe, Caden Proctor, Ian Acor. There's Denzel Boston. There's Omar Cooper. Who do you think? Caden?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do Caden Proctor. All right. Now we are at 54 overall. Who do you like? Jennings Dunker, Chris Brazel, Bryce Lance, Caleb Tiernan. Who do you like? Anybody? Oh, no. We have a bunch of stiffs again.
Yeah, let me hang on here. Give me that wide receiver from Alabama at the top.
Jeremy Bernard. I like Jeremy. All right, Jeremy Bernard. All right, now we're down at 68 overall, top of the round 3 here. Still no tight end in the city of brotherly love. Max Clare is there. We should have taken Oscar Delp. Did he already go?
Let's see.
I don't see Oscar
Give me
Delp.
that Ohio State tight end.
No. Yeah, Max Clare. I was going to go Oscar Delp instead.
All right.
All right, I'll go him. We'll go Max Clare. All right. All right, now we are down at 98, pick 98. You got LT Overton, I actually like.
Take him.
Garrett Nussmeier. You don't want a QB in round 3?
Take Nussmeier.
What about Drew Aller?
No.
Nussmeier?
Nussmeier, because there's a relationship there too. Take that.
Nussmeier is done and dusted. He's been drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, so we've gotten
give me that safety from TCU.
Proctor, Bernard, Clare, and Nussmeier. So we got a tackle, a wide receiver, a tight end, a quarterback. Now we need what? A safety?
Give me that safety from TCU.
Bud Clark. Wait, let me see who's available. Oh, yeah. Lorenzo Styles is bad. All right, I'll go Bud Clark. All right, now we're down at 137.
Give me a corner. I want a corner here.
Why?
Here, because here's where I went. Here's the needs.
I like Nick Singleton right here.
OT, edge, wide receiver, safety.
I like the Penn State running back, Nick Singleton.
Okay, take him.
All right, good.
They need a running back. I had him moored at number.
Kid's going to be a stud. All right, now we're down at 178. What do you think, Sills? So far, we've taken a tackle, a wideout, a tight end, a quarterback, a safety, and a running back.
We need internal defensive tackle help.
Yes, I agree.
You don't have depth. Go there. Get a DT. Get a DT there.
Go. Defensive interior. Ooh, Zane Durant. I actually don't. I don't mind Zane Durant. All right, we'll go Zane. You go with that?
Yeah.
Oof, we're reaching here. All right, last pick, sixth round pick, 197 overall.
Give me another safety.
You don't want offensive line help?
Safety or O-line? Go ahead. Best available. Is that a guard at the top, that A&M kid? Take him.
We're going to get an F. We got a B. We got a B. We should have. It says we should have drafted Romello Height over Max Clare. Well, we need a tight end. PFF, you dumb shit.
Yeah, I mean, bye. All right, with that, you watch. I'm so good at these drafts. I mean, every year I remember everyone going, "Oh, Trent McDuffie sucks. He's too small." I'm like, the guy's going to be an all-pro.
You didn't say that, dude.
You know I did. I told you I had
him on my mock. But I don't know that you said he's going to be
I had him on my mock draft that the Eagles should have drafted.
You didn't say all-pro. You embellished it.
I also said Devin Lloyd was going to be a good ball player. I said Bijan Robinson was going to be a great ball player.
You said Mozzie Smith was going to be good, too.
I said Mozzie Smith would be a turd.
Is that right?
Hey, Yale, you in here? You told me he was going to be a great player. The guy was a ball and chain. He couldn't move his feet. He was Frankenstein.
All right, what do these people think of our draft? Oh, wait, it's not on the screen anymore. Caden Proctor, Jeremy Bernard, I like it, 2 Alabama picks. Max Clare, Garrett Nussmeier, Bud Clark, Nick Singleton, Zane Durant, and Armaj Reed Adams.
I think that last pick's pretty good too.
Yeah, it is. Like Greg gave me an A grade on it.
I think that's a really good one. Here's what I wrote down here for needs. You tell me Eagle needs heading into this draft. I got OT, edge, wide receiver, safety, interior O-line, tight end, depth at corner, depth at DT, and a quarterback.
That's good.
And the reason I went with Kenyon Sadiq
He's not fault. Why? So you got the Eagles trading up
to 21 to get him, probably. I think they're going to have to go get him, but they're going to get
They're
him.
going to have to go get him.
How about this? Do you think there's anybody in that draft that can make an impact on your football team at all where you're going to be picking within 23 to 18 or 19?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
I think Blake Miller is a great pick.
Blake Miller is a bag of donuts.
Blake Miller is a perfect replacement to Lane. You know, guys, when a legend retires, let me teach you guys all something. When a legend retires, you don't replace him with another legend. You don't. It's just impossible. So you take a guy who's got a high floor that you allow to play through his rookie contract. He's got a very high floor, and you're in a good spot. You can transition off, and then the next guy you get in 4 or 5 years will be your next Hall of Fame right tackle.
Well, clue this kid in here that Lane Johnson was the 4th player taken versus the 23rd player taken in the NFL draft. There's a little difference there, dog. Let me see here. I'm going to show you something.
Miller does have a high floor, Dome. Yes, he does. He's played like 4,000 million snaps, dude. He's a pretty good player. He's a 5-year player.
Okay. Hold on here. I'm going to show you something.
Dome. Maybe you need a refresher Dome.
Hey, Z, hang on here. So you want to take that kid, right? What's his name?
Dude, there's nobody to take. You're either going to trade up or you're cooked. I don't know what you think. They're not going to be able to trade back that easily.
All right.
You know what I would really do? I guess he just got signed, so I can't do that. I was gonna resurrect the talking point of Trayvon Walker.
Hey, listen to this. Okay, you tell me what's the difference here. So Emmanuel Pragan from Oregon, Blake Miller, Max Hahine Ankor, Arizona State, and the other guy, Jennings Dunker, Iowa, offensive guard. Every single one of those guys are ranked the same with grade. Every one of those. And one of these guys is going to go in the 2nd or 3rd round. What the hell's the difference? Getting them in the 3rd round versus drafting one. Go get yourself a fucking playmaker. Go get yourself a guy that, by the way, the only way you can add to your offense right now is in the draft. Can't add free agents. You don't want any more money.
I already told you this. How are they going to improve the offense in the draft?
Folks, because they're going to go get a skilled guy unless you think the quarterback's a stiff.
Well, but they already don't use the skilled guys they have.
So what are you saying about the quarterback?
I'm saying his offense doesn't accentuate the talents of skill position players.
Okay, then go draft Ty Simpson.
I did. I did on the thing.
They're going to take a quarterback.
Wait. I love this. So Dome says that Blake Miller is going to suck because of who he played against. Hey, Dome, are you a fan of Quinyon Mitchell? How about Cooper DeJean? Are you a fan of him? How about Jordan Mailata? Dome. To the corner you go, guy. Sit down and shut the fuck up.
Oh, Zoe. What
a dumb comment.
You're sold on O-line.
Yeah.
You are.
The offense isn't accentuating the talents of skill position players.
You know how I don't think Zander's. This is what I hope happens. A.J. Brown's still on the team. Devontae Smith develops They go get Kenyon Sadiq. Barkley's on the team. And the passing game's 28th. Hey, and at the end of the year,
I mean,
it's over.
All right, now here's where you could win me over.
Give him everything he needs.
This is where you could win me over. Ready? What makes life easier for the next quarterback?
Correct.
A right tackle or a tight end?
A tight end.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
In this draft, yeah.
If you're getting clobbered,
because that quarterback's going to get the ball out on time. Hey, remember
why do you give Joe Burrow a hall pass?
Joe Burrow's not going to stop another quarterback. He can't play defense. They're 32nd. I mean, dude, their offense is not the problem. It's Mike Brown.
Oh, man.
In the zipper wall mode.
People crying. Oh, dude. What do you guys want me to fucking sit here and study a bunch of dudes in tights? I'm building a business, all right? I got a lot of shit going on. I'm not fucking worried about the round 6 of the NFL draft. Let's see who the Eagles get.
Man.
Here's my guarantee. The Cowboys will draft a bunch of stiffs. The Commanders will draft a bunch of stiffs. The Giants will draft a bunch of stiffs. And the Eagles will probably draft a couple good players at the top and then a bunch of stiffs in the later rounds.
Oh, man.
It's about what's going on.
Here's the Eagles here. 23, 54, 68, 98, 114, 137, 178, 197. The Philadelphia Eagles will use the 98th pick to pick Nussmeier. LSU.
Who'd you rather take, Nussmeier in round 3 or Ty in round 1?
Nussmeier in round 3.
Yeah, me too.
Because
I don't even think they're doing that.
I'm not ready to can your boy just yet. I want to give, dude, honest, you know what? I know everyone's not going to believe this, but here's my thought really on Jalen Hurts 26. I want to give that kid every opportunity to dig himself out of the position he's in now. With them wanting him to elevate the offense, I want him to go along too. I mean that. I don't believe he will. And I heard John today.
Okay, so what do you think they're going to do to help him get out of the hole?
Kenyon Sadiq, add another guy. Give him everything he needs.
Another guy.
Yeah. Make it easier for him.
Holy shit, dude.
Hey, dude, I'll tell you one thing the Philadelphia Eagles
Even you're going soft. Jalen has enough around him, dude.
Wait. No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, well,
it's time for him to elevate his game.
Dude. Well, wait a minute. You told me the number one thing that you think Nick Sirianni does well as a coach is that he puts him in a position that he believes will give Jalen the best amount of success. Howie Roseman has put great, talented players around him. The one thing that the Eagles do well, and the one thing that, well, they do many things well, but the one thing that I like that they do for this kid, bro, they're not short on talent around him.
Because they need to be. Well, guess what? We had a little bit of a luxury period.
Well, what's wrong with not going down that lane then?
We had a luxury period for a couple years where we could make Devontae Smith and then the next year trade a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. We don't got that anymore. We got big problems. We got big fish to fry right now. We need offensive linemen. Our offensive lineman was depleted last year. I can't draft Kenyon Sadiq. By the way, the guy had 500 yards in colleges this year.
Looking at the wrong number, Junior.
How many wide receivers did Hurts make better? 0.
Olamide Zacharias.
Oh, come on. I like Olamide.
I do too, man. Hold on here. I'm gonna show Z something. Let's see here. What's that? Yeah, it was Bearcats.
How many wideouts has Jalen made better? 0. The wideouts made him better. That's fine. It is what it is. But that's why we don't need to go and get a freaking another skill position guy.
Okay. So I'm going to show you guys something here. Do you know who this is? Guy had 150 yards receiving, and then his senior year, he had 700 yards and 40 catches. Do you know who that is?
What was the thing? How many catches? 140?
No, he had 40 catches.
40.
And he had 700 yards receiving. And his junior year, he had 13 catches for 150 yards. You know who this guy is?
I do not.
It's Travis Kelce. I mean,
all right. So you think Kenyon Sadiq's going to be Travis Kelce? Because that's a take.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's what you're equating it to.
No, you had no idea who the fuck Travis Kelce was.
But my point is that you're equating it to Travis Kelce. So either stand Sills 10 toes down and predict Kenyon Sadiq.
That's not what I'm saying.
Legend. Yes, you are.
I am not saying. I didn't say he has the same
You're
skill
saying
set.
the 500 yards doesn't matter.
I'm saying when you draft a guy out of college, you don't know what you're getting. I mean, you have no idea what you're getting. So
yeah,
when you look at a guy,
I actually think the opposite, but okay.
Let's see here. That's not what I am no way saying that he's Travis Kelce. I'm saying when you drafted Travis Kelce out of college, you had no fucking idea who he was. Zero. Here's another one. Here's another guy.
Dude, this guy, Sileo. Soon Sileo will be looking to put all pros at the backup spot.
Oh, wait a second here. Okay. So this guy had 28.
Wait, we need an all-pro backup now to help Jalen Hurts.
So this guy had 20. Guys, this guy had 28 catches and 500 yards. The next year he had 40 catches and he had 550 yards. That's Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, I know your point. I mean, I think Kittle had low yards too. All of them do. I get it.
Yeah, you don't know.
I don't think this team is in a position to draft a tight end right now in the first round.
Why not? You're going to have to replace that guy and a playmaker. Hey,
I'd prefer Delp or Claire or one of the guys in round 2 or 3.
Okay, so Kansas City with Andy Reid. Let me get another one. New England with Brady. Let's go another one. You know what? Stafford, that doesn't fit. Do you not agree that if you don't have a quality pass-catching tight end? Oh, and by the way, didn't your the offensive coordinator that you just hired, that filet mignon guy, who did he coach at Green Bay?
You don't like filet mignon?
I love it.
He coached Wicks. He coached Jordan Love. Tucker Kraft.
He coached Tucker Kraft.
Kenyon Sadiq is not Tucker Kraft.
I didn't say that. That's the position he coached.
Oh, is that what he was before he was
a? He was the tight end coach.
That's interesting. So Howie's really loading up for Sean Mannion. They must really trust him. Maybe you're right. Maybe they are more committed to him than for the future.
Hey, yes, sir, man. That's what I would like to do. Hey, Sills, you know the guy that so last year the guy who couldn't call plays situationally. What we decided to do was fucking hire his cousin.
He was the quarterbacks coach in Green Bay.
I thought he coached tight ends.
No, he was an offensive assistant in 24 and a quarterbacks coach in 25.
I thought he was working with Kraft. Okay. So he's a quarterback coach. Okay. So he worked with Love. Sean Mannion. He's been a coach for 25 months. I love it.
True. And you got Howie drafting his whole thing for him.
Why not? Got to save the quarterback.
Do you?
I think.
I can't keep putting a Band-Aid on this shit, dude. You're either going to elevate or you're not. We got big needs right now. Lane Johnson's about to retire. Offensive line was depleted last year. Son, you got enough playmakers around you. We need to draft offensive linemen now.
Dude, you got through telling me you think AJ's lost it. He's not the guy he was before.
I still think it's enough for a quarterback to be above 28th in passing.
So you're committed on this O-line guy.
I'm not the guy. I'd like to see offensive. I want them to trade up.
Blake Miller is your guy.
If they draft Blake Miller, are you gonna rip them to shreds?
No, because
Sileo showed up Friday morning like the Terminator.
Here's what they're gonna do. They're going to take a wideout, 23rd pick.
There's just not that. So who do you like? Which one?
Man, they're not good. Dude, there's nobody down there. They're going to have to go up to get a guy. Would they get if Lemon fell to 15 or 16 or 17? I don't see them jumping up there. Hey, if Styles does fall to where you think where I got him at 15 to the Bucks, you think the Eagles would jump up there and get his ass as a replacement for Zach Bond?
Styles?
Yeah.
If he falls, I could see that, but I doubt it. They Howie said it. Don't listen to me. Listen to the GM. Howie said we need offense. We drafted a lot on defense, dude. They've drafted a lot of first-round players on defense.
Yeah, but if you're drafting on offense, these guys aren't going to play. You got contracts, dude, you got anchors around their neck.
All you got to do is, pop the shade over your eyes. Howie's telling you what he's doing. No,
he's not.
Yes, he is.
That guy's not going to.
He said at the start of the offseason, we need to draft the offense. You're right. They're not going to play. So what does that mean?
So you're going to draft players in the first round that are going to have no impact on your football team this year.
Howie's preparing for the next regime or the next team or whatever, or the future, however you want to word it.
Quarterback.
Maybe. Or the next coach, whatever they may be. I don't know what they're thinking. Maybe Nick is that one on the hotter seat than Jalen.
No way. I agree.
I'll tell you what's not going to happen. There's a 0% chance that Nicole Lynn lets Jalen go into next season without a new contract. So he's either going to earn the contract or the Eagles are going to be bullied into paying him it. Nicole Lynn won't let him play. For $20 million guaranteed dollars? No way. She won't let him play.
You think she starts shit in July? If there's no contract?
This year? No, not this year.
So you're going to let him go? You're going to let him go into this year with
you don't want him to as an agent, but aren't you also, beholden to the player performance? I mean, what's her talking? After 22, she had every talking point needed. The guy was a runner-up MVP. He was within a play of winning a Super Bowl. He threw the ball all over the place. He looks amazing.
Yeah, and that thing.
25, you go in and you're like,
And you know what I did though? I realized after 22, I was thinking I was buying the Hope Diamond. What I got was a piece of ice after that because the guy stopped running and it was like phony. It was a zirconian. And I was like, holy shit. Look at this thing here, man.
It was a piece of plastic on Amazon.
Yeah, I was like, look at this. I saw this in a bubblegum box. Dude, if that guy doesn't run this year, it's freaking over. It'll be over by week 6.
No, not week 6.
Week 6. Man, you'll be delegated to guess what? He'll be a quality control coach.
We'll know early because we'll see in training camp. We'll see. Howard Eskin will come on the show and he'll talk to one of his sources and he'll come in and he'll tell. Remember that clip that went viral last year from Howard, the Tanner McKee's the better quarterback on the Eagles? That thing got over 1 million views across all the platforms. But he didn't just say that because Howard Eskin thinks Tanner McKee's better than Jalen. That's not where that came from.
No.
Now, I'm not going to speak for Howard, but Howard spoke with somebody who's at the practices and who said that to him. That was not just Howard Eskin saying, oh, yeah, I think Tanner McKee's better.
Yeah, it was Stoutland.
Maybe it was. Who knows?
It was Stoutland that told him.
Who knows?
Well, he is a better skill set guy. He's got better skills as a passer. He's not a better player, but he's not a better player. People can't tie that in. He's not a better player than Jalen Hurts, but he's a better passer than Jalen Hurts. I can't wait. But by the way, that little exercise that I did earlier. So I got 3 questions for you. Give me one thing right you think Jalen Hurts does great.
Great?
What does besides winning as a skill set player?
Yeah, you're talking about the end of it. If you were
Individual.
evaluating him for a draft right now, what does he do
That's
great?
right. That's right.
Hmm.
Don't think too long.
You got anything?
I think he does great. What?
You got anything?
I think he plays really good up tempo. I think he's good when they speed the game up.
Would you give him great? Would you give him great deep ball or?
Yeah, I would.
I don't even know if I'd give him that, dude.
I think he throws a pretty decent deep ball. Yeah, I think he's good.
I saw Devontae Smith perform in gymnastics last year to try and catch a couple of them.
Listen, I didn't say he was accurate. I think he throws.
Devontae Smith had a straight up do a backflip one time to catch that ball.
He plays well in up tempo. He throws a decent deep ball.
You asked great. You didn't ask good.
Okay,
I think he's a good deep ball thrower.
I'll take that back. I'll take that
great
back.
Means what do they do great?
I think he's great in up tempo. Okay, and yeah, I completely disagree with that. The guy is not accurate. He throws behind the guys all the time. He's never accurate, and he never throws with anticipation. So give me what other thing besides up tempo he does great, in your opinion, as a quarterback.
I don't know that I have anything.
Okay. So what does he do?
I think his intangibles have always been the best part about him.
Okay. I want to know about the guy, only him. I get it. He's a great dude sitting at a party playing Parcheesi, and he's great.
You asked me what he does great.
Okay. Right. As a quarterback, what does his skill set do great?
It's a trap question. I don't have an answer. I don't think he does anything.
Okay.
Let's walk through it. You know what? Let's do something simple.
What does Matthew Stafford do great?
Yeah, he's accurate. Ball comes out on time. Elite thrower of the football. I mean, he does a lot of things.
Reads defenses. Right.
Let's look up quarterback scouting reports, and then let's just read how do they categorize quarterbacks? Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that. I want to go to Lance Zierlein and see what he does.
Okay. He is my favorite guy.
I like him too.
Z, use that as a tool from now on. And any guy that you talked about moving forward, the guy is a savant.
Okay, here we go.
We get this old mattress.
This stupid noise.
The better deal on one of these fresh sets.
All right. This isn't the right website, man. I need traits. I want traits. Quarterback traits.
I think I got one. Okay.
Decision making, ball placement, pocket presence, arm strength, and leadership. I think Jalen's great in leadership and nothing else. I don't think he's a great decision maker. I don't think he's great with ball placement. I don't think he's great in the pocket, and I don't think he has great arm strength.
Okay, so let me read those back to me. I mean, so let's go for the crowd in here. Give me the traits again. Give me the first.
You can tell me if you disagree. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm simply
no.
Decision making and mental processing.
That's a D.
Accuracy and ball placement.
C minus.
No, I think he's a little higher than that. Just don't let it be zone.
Okay. What else?
Pocket presence of movement. Now that's low.
That's a D.
Yeah, I agree. Arm strength and talent.
C.
Anticipation.
D.
Physical tools and mobility.
B plus.
Intangibles. Leadership, character.
B plus, because the thing now coming out about the coaching, but intangibles, winning, like never quitting, I'll go B plus. Okay.
All right. Well,
I think that's fair. So, yeah, I mean, his pocket presence is terrible.
I agree. I get
Okay.
agita. I tell people all the time. I watch the Eagles games and he sits in the pocket. I get agita. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
How come,
I get agita.
how come John couldn't understand what you were trying to tell him like today when you went? How can you have the second best pass protection in the NFL, and Hurts holds on the ball the longest of any quarterback in the league a year ago, and you're down at 29 in the passing offense and 23 the last 2 years? That's decision making and pocket presence, not being able to read. He's not understanding either that, Zander, or he's not trusting. Now, listen, I'm going to give him the benefit here on one thing. He may not be trusting the play call. He may not be trusting that the play that came in. And if he's already with limited skills, that's why he's going to throw late.
Boy, I'm gonna have people with pitchforks out at me at the home opener after this summer.
Don't worry. It will only last 6 weeks.
Bring out the pitchforks.
What, you still got 14-3?
No, when did I say that?
Yesterday.
No,
Like we went over the schedule. You had 14
You did some
3.
BS off the cuff thing. I gotta wait for the schedule to come out, and I'll give you what I think. Right now, I'm thinking between 10 and 12 wins. It depends.
Hey, did you ask John? How come nobody asked the question? And I'm not picking on John on this.
Yeah, I did.
About which one? Which one?
What were you gonna say?
About the articles and more into the articles about Hurts, like changing the plays and shit like that.
Yeah, John's thing was that we talked to Nick 3 times a week, and we talked to Howie like twice a year. So all the questions are for Howie, and there was nothing for Nick. Which makes some sense. I mean, if you have one question,
Howie's in there to deflect.
I guess. I mean, he didn't even deflect. He didn't even defend Hurts. There wasn't one.
I got a rule about in the pit there. If a guy's in the room, he's open to questions too.
That wasn't John's point. John's point was we only talked to Howie twice, so like people want to ask him questions. You get one opportunity to ask a question up there. You're not going to ask it to Nick, who you talk to 3 times a week.
It was kind of slick then on what he did, Bob Lang, because you can't ask Nick about coaching Jalen then, because you got to get Howie's questions. I'm not saying that's not wrong, but it's pretty slick.
Wait. Don't get this twisted here, Fredo. If Hurts balls out and I'm saying 22 Jalen was back, that's a great thing, my friend. We're going to win a lot of football games.
You're going to torture a lot of teams that way. If
hey,
22
Brock, you're a Jalen fan. I appreciate that. I'm an Eagle fan. If Jalen plays great and the Eagles win, shit, I'm pumped. If Jalen is dragging the team down and the offense sucks ass again and they can't win because their offense is inept, then yeah, I'm going to call out the quarterback. I do a talk show about the team. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. You want me to sit here and glaze them?
Wait a second. Zander's opinion is based on the quarterback's play, not a take he has. Why do people not understand that? Your takes are not going to be based on,
I think most
hey, like this, look, here's this take, and it's here forever. No, you're evaluating what the quarterback and how he plays. The quarterback plays great. What are you going to do? The guy sucks? You can't. You got to sit there and give him his due.
Alfredo, I got something for you to do. I want you to seriously do this because Sileo is right, but I don't need to toot my own horn about it. Alfredo, go on YouTube and type in 2022 Jalen Hurts highlights and watch Jalen Hurts. Watch how electric he was as a player in 2022. It's not to sit up here and say we hate Jalen. It's not to. No. He's not the same player right now, dude. He's not even close to that player right now. I haven't seen that guy in a long time.
It's not the same playbook. It's just not. It's not the same playbook.
I mean, the offense. Who dragged the team down last year? Jalen, the offense or the defense?
The offense.
Okay, and the quarterback apparently in Philadelphia, the quarterback bears no responsibility for that. Like I don't. What are we smoking here?
Well, but it's because it's easy to land on the coach because everyone did. They landed on Kevin Patullo. By the way, I don't believe Kevin Patullo was the problem.
What was Kellen Moore a good coach?
I think Kevin Patullo though was a problem on game day.
I agree with that. Situationally.
Yep.
I don't
think he was a problem Monday through Saturday.
Game day, I agree with you.
Game day,
Situationally, he was not good.
game day, he was a problem.
But let me ask you. All right, you're an offensive coordinator. Situationally, game day, you got to be good, right? You have big moments.
Yeah,
you have
that's your moment.
Clutch. Yeah, all right. You're in clutch time moments as an offensive coordinator. Can't run play action. Can't run under center. Quarterback might change the play, like slant routes and hitch routes. No motion.
Impossible.
And 4 verts.
Impossible.
Okay, now that's your playbook. Now what are you doing as an OC?
I got 7 plays to pick from.
So when people say it's a predictable offense, it looks the same. Well, that's why.
Yeah, because
That's
you got
the point
7.
that was the point in the McLean article, or the McManus article.
Yep, that's right. Think about that. What you just said, you laid it out perfect. That Sean Mannion had probably 14 plays situationally on 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7. Think about that, Zander. You probably had about 100 plays that the quarterback felt comfortable on situationally, right? Whereas Matthew Stafford probably has what? 400.
Yeah.
Where he can pick from. By the way, does he use his armband a lot? Does Hurts use armbands?
Yeah.
He does?
Yeah.
Because the really great quarterbacks will look down at their armband and they'll have variations. I've seen Phillip Rivers' armband before. You know what he has? So there's like 10 plays. And I go, what are they? He goes, it's just a code for his type of passing offense. Like if it's a 1-4-6, I know this, where to line up the wide receivers and what the protection. The last number on it is the protection. And I go like this. He go, how is this evolved? Before, you know what he used to say? He used to have sheets like this of them.
Yeah, right.
But as he got older, guess what? He had one.
Boy, was that fun? Was that fun or what when Phillip Rivers came back?
Yeah. Just watching him. Remember, he was doing this. He was going, you. And he's pointing at the guy. And the guy's sitting there going like this. Holy shit.
Can we get some more quarterbacks like that again in the NFL that process the game, that dissect the game, that sit there and beat you mentally in a game?
I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson struggle from that.
I agree 100%.
That's great.
I agree completely. Josh is another guy, relies on the talent a little too much.
Yep. Same with Lamar. Those guys are not being coached good enough.
See, Mello says, this is an interesting point. Mello says, the Eagles snap the ball with 5 seconds or less on the play clock 75% of the time. That's coaching. Is that coaching?
That's Jalen. Okay. Jonathan Vilma tells you exactly what goes down here. So when you get to the line of scrimmage, they shut the thing off at 15 seconds. So inside of that 15 seconds to the snap, Hurts has got to find his landmark, and he's got to find his pre-snap. You know what teams are doing? They're moving around, and pre-snap, they're giving them different looks. Jalen's got to set protection, and he's got to find his landmark. He's got to look where pressure might come from, and then he's got to set it. By the time you're looking 10, 9, 8, you know what linebackers are doing? They're waiting for him to do this. Set. And when he goes set, they move to their pre-snap, and Jalen's already set the protection. He's already looking at a different landmark, and the landmark's over here instead of there because they're now caught up with him. Yeah. So, you know what? They're playing the game of fish with him.
Well, no. Well, Mello says he was talking about the play. No, the play, they have to get it in before 15 seconds. They can't talk to him after 15 seconds.
That's
the
correct.
ear thing shuts off.
The ear thing shuts off after 15.
Well, there's also multiple ways to look at that. Like, for example, John used to tell me this story. Phillip Rivers, who we just talked about, he always snaps the ball with 5 or under seconds left. And that's intentional. He wants to dissect as much pre-snap as possible. So correct. I don't think that's always a negative thing, but the Eagles always looked rushed, when they did it. It never looked like when Phillip does it, he's dissecting. It almost looks like they calmed down.
Generic.
Right. When the Eagles were doing it, it felt like it was a big rush, and it was never. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways to look at that part of it. I thought it was more Jalen than it was coaching, but who knows?
Let's read a couple of these supers here, man.
I do agree, Mello. They looked rushed. There's no doubt about that. Brian Fleming says, this year will be legendary for Sills. This team will fall apart, and he'll be roasting us like a chicken. Sills will be insufferable all season long. Look, you can see it on his face. He thinks so too.
You know what? I'm hoping for them to have a really good year. And I am. Because you know
think
why?
AJ Brown getting traded?
Yeah. I don't think it's even a question now. I mean, get this. They're not very good. They're not even good liars anymore about it. AJ's he's an Eagle. You think
I'm trying. How many times? I am now trying to tell you that my friend, I don't know if it warrants a rewatch, if it forces you to open up your mind on something. Howie Roseman is telling you exactly what he's thinking. He got a softball, a T-ball, a softball on top of a tee the other day to defend Jalen Hurts. He didn't even think about it. He defended the front office and kept rolling. He's showing you what they're doing.
Yeah, they're distancing themselves from the player.
I think they're just their understanding of it's not locked in right now.
Jalen, go do it. By the way, I do think this though too. Hey, and I agree, Yale, it's business. I do think this. Hey, man, Jalen, I so hope it's you. I really do. I so hope it's you.
Dude, BS, dude. Go out there and perform. What do you mean I hope it's you? Perform or don't. Wait. There's 32 of these guys on planet Earth. You understand this? I mean, these are coveted jobs. These are, look, there's not that many of them. It shows you that Jalen is good, but it just, if it's not going to work, and I think Howie's showing you, they're not going to be they're not going to sit around and wait for it.
You think Sam Darnold could have won the Super Bowl in 2024?
In Philly?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to play that game because I feel like, you take out one factor, a lot of things change. But to answer your question, yeah, I do. I mean, they didn't really ride the quarterback until the last 2 games of the year. And even then there was help. I mean, people point out the Super Bowl guys. I mean, the defense was insane in that Super Bowl. I mean, the Patrick Mahomes couldn't get past midfield.
Got a question for you. You think Jalen Hurts could have beat Tom Brady in that Super Bowl that Nick Foles won?
That's a good question. I think so. I mean, Nick obviously played legendary, but Jalen's played pretty good in 2 Super Bowls, dude. I can't really knock Jalen that's one thing I'll give him credit for. You want to go back to the traits? I think when the lights are bright and you need him to perform, I think he has performed at a pretty damn high level. But
I got to tell you,
it's hard to play that game. I mean, how do you know?
Every time that I've seen Nick Foles play in a playoff game for you in the Philadelphia Eagles, he's excelled.
Well, he struggled earlier in that playoff run.
I thought he had the highest playoff percentage of any quarterback.
Was it the playoffs that he struggled with the game before, the couple games before?
I thought Nick has the highest playoff completion percentage of any NFL quarterback in all time. So let me see here. Here it is right here. 25 consecutive passes.
That's a good thing.
Playoff career completion percentage, number 1 in NFL history.
Wait,
look at that. Playoff career completion percentage in NFL history is Nick Foles.
That's amazing. Jalen's like number 2, though, isn't he?
I don't know. I just think that if you would have told me that that Nick Foles is like he played great in that game you lost against the Saints, didn't he? When Jeffries dropped the pass.
I'm trying to find the passing chart.
Here, I got one for you. I can pull that up. I know where to go to that. Nick Foles playoffs. Yeah, let me see. Nick Foles.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Foles was throwing touchdowns to Corey Clement in that game.
That's incredible. So here's Foles' games. In 2023, 2013, he was 23 of 33 for 69.7% completion percentage. Had 195 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. In 17, he played in 3 games. This guy had 1,000 yards throwing the ball in 3 games, 72.6%. And in the 2 games he played in 18, he threw for 500 yards, 43 of 71. This guy's got a 68.1% completion percentage. And he's played in 6 playoff games for the Eagles. And he's number 1 all time. He's got 11 touchdowns and 5 picks. Dude, talk about a guy who plays in a moment. It's a damn shame that guy could never play, consistent football because, dude, that guy is streaky as shit, man.
He is.
All right, let me finish up these. We'll take a time out here before Adam
Wait,
Cap.
we got more supers. My bad.
Right.
We stopped. We're distracted today. Cody says, other than Vernon Davis, name one tight end drafted in round 1 that lived up to the pick. Give me safety or O-line. They're not taking safety.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Vernon Davis, the kid from Maryland. You're right. I believe he went to the San Francisco 49ers. You're right, man. I'll tell you what, Cody, that's a good pull by you.
Well, the 2 guys last year I think are okay. I think Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren are pretty good.
Oh, absolutely, man. And by the way, that kid, Brock Bowers, has lived up every bit of it.
I like Colston Loveland. Kyle says,
I was shocked. Maybe, you know why?
Well, yeah, remember they took him before Tyler.
You know why I got that wrong? It's because J.J. McCarthy was throwing him the rock up in Michigan, and he stinks. And I just never thought he was – I thought he was a blocking dude at Michigan. This guy's catching one-handed passes over his back. He was some ball player last year.
Here's Kyle. Hate to be ball breaking, but you're going to need a trade with Carolina at 19. That's where I'm hearing Sadiq is going.
Probably.
What do you mean you're hearing it, Kyle? Fuck you hearing it from? You reading it somewhere? What, a Howie call you?
On his bat phone.
I don't know, man. You want to trade up for a tight end?
I want to trade up for a playmaker.
Quarterback can't get the ball to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You want to trade up for a tight end?
Quarterback can't get it done. I got to find someone that will.
So
As you said, I got too many freaking playmakers.
Yeah, but if you – okay, I understand, but that's why Saquon Barkley was a good addition because it took the ball out of Hurts' hands. Drafting a tight end is going to require the ball to be in Hurts' hands and require him to use the talent.
Well, are you trying to help the kid or not?
How much more help does he need, dude?
Obviously, a little more.
Okay, maybe. I'm telling you, it's pretty soon you're going to be vouching for all pro backups. Cody Stacy says, claiming you called Bijan was going to be a stud isn't a flex. Everyone saw that coming.
Really?
Good rebuttal, Cody.
Really, Cody? Everyone did? Like who?
Yeah, we were Bijan 365 for a while.
Oh, no, I was saying I thought the Eagles should have drafted him because that's the kind of running back he wanted. He made a play. He made a play for Christian McCaffrey.
Bijan's a hell of a football player. Here's Kyle. With the 31st pick, the Patriots select Diana Rossini, Cougars from Sopranos Universe.
You think she ever works again?
Yeah, she'll probably jump on YouTube or do a podcast or something. She'll probably break the internet with her first podcast.
Can I tell you?
I don't want to see her fail for life. I mean, I don't root for that, you know.
Listen, I told Joy you should contact her and you and her should do a podcast together.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I think Joy is. I don't know. I'm done speaking.
I know.
Khaled says, Sills, we were so lucky with Lane. That class was ass. Yeah, it was.
Lane was the 4th pick in the draft.
Yeah, and who's the dude that went 3?
What was that, 13?
I forget who went 3. An offensive lineman went right before him.
Oh, no way.
What was that, 2013, right?
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, Deion Jordan and Luke Jokel. Eric Fisher went 1 overall.
Oh, who?
Eric Fisher.
Oh, Lane's the best player. Who are the top 5 picks?
Eric Fisher. He worked, though, didn't he? He was pretty good, Eric Fisher, wasn't he?
All right.
Yeah.
Jordan was not awful.
I thought, wait 1 second. I thought, all right, here we go.
Let's see here. Hold on for a second. Let me see that 2013 draft. Could Lane have been a number
Luke
one?
Jokel. So you do 3 offensive linemen went. No, yeah, Lane was the 3rd one taken.
Third?
Yeah, Deion Jordan's obviously an end. He went to Miami.
Let's see. If I had to redo this draft,
Eduardo says, call it 2 girls and a mic.
hey, dude, you ready for this? If I had to redo this is a terrible draft. Lane Johnson should be the first player taken. If you had to redo it again, he'd be the number 1 player taken. DJ Fluker was a colossal disaster for the Chargers. D. Milner, all these guys, Jonathan Cooper, these guys, this is one of the worst drafts. EJ Manuel stunk in Buffalo. DeAndre Hopkins would probably go number 1, and then Lane would go number 2.
No, Lane would go number 1. Stop. Take a wide receiver over Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's a Hall of Fame offensive tackle, dude.
How many offensive tackles have ever gone number 1 overall? Like 1? And he's a right tackle.
There's one right there in 2013, Eric Fisher.
That's right. Eric Fisher. He stunk. Holy shit. Number 1 over. That's
Zach Ertz and Darius Slay were both in that class.
Second round.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the second round had more players.
Yeah,
Travis Kelce went in the 3rd. Keenan Allen went in the 3rd.
Le'Veon Bell, Eddie Lacy, Travis Kelce, Tyrann Mathieu, Teron Armstead, Keenan Allen, you just mentioned him, Jordan Reed.
This 2000.
David Bakhtiari, wow, went in round 4. He was pretty good.
Yeah. Wow. Look at this.
Kyle Juszczyk.
That kid Poirier went too. Poirier, that kid you guys drafted.
Yeah,
he turned out to be
we drafted him and then we traded him, right?
Yeah, that kid turned out. He played 181 ball games.
He's still around, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still around.
All right. Well,
any more supers?
Oh, maybe. No, it might be it.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
I wonder what Adam Kaplan's going to say about this whole mess.
I think Adam's going to give you good insight. And I don't think he's going to sugarcoat it for everybody. So good. I don't like sugarcoaters.
I think it's going to be really interesting here. I really do. All right, Z.
Why do Eagle fans want to be veiled? Like, why do they want to cover them? Like, why do they want to pull a mask over their eyes? If there's a problem on the team, don't you want to know what it is?
Here's what I don't get about how Eagle fans look at this team. They think if we're being critical of it, it's shitting on them. Whereas more, I'm thinking, you're so close to being great. Don't you want to keep the window open? Dude, you know how horrible it is to cover the Jets? Do you know how horrible it is to cover shitty teams? Dude, you're constantly in a bad place. Do you know? Get this. Check this out. So I taped a segment for Sports Grid this weekend with Ian Eagle, and you know what I asked? You know, yeah, he's been on here. Yeah. You know what I asked Ian Eagle? You call preseason games for the Jets. What do you think the turnaround is? You know what he said to me? Define turnaround. and he goes, define turnaround. You know, I mean, Zander, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you could be talking about the Arizona Cardinals.
I agree. That wouldn't be very fun.
I do agree with John on why do you think the Eagles act as an organization like they won 2 games last year? Is that good or bad?
It's a blessing and a curse.
I think it's actually good.
I do too. Here's what it is. When they're on the brink of being a bad team, it serves them excellent. Because that's why Howie and Jeffrey have been able to turn things around so quick. But when you're teetering on greatness or right at the top, it could be bad because they're a little bit quick to move. But at the all in all, I think it's worth it. I mean, I think it's a win, a net win.
Don't you agree that the Eagles look at 11 wins as they look at 2-win teams? To them, well, wait, I'm gonna here. Let me go here. Whether you win 9 games or 2 games or 11 games. You only lasted 1 more week than a team that won 2 games. And they don't look at that as success. They look at that as failure, 11 wins. Same way teams look at 2-win teams. I'm not saying that they're further, they don't look at themselves as the Jets, but they look at failure the same way other teams look at failure, just differently, that they're 11, their benchmark's 11 wins. Zander, 11 wins doesn't mean shit to them if it's not a productive 11 wins.
Well,
and they acted like that this offseason.
I do think they like, the publicity, because look, it's a business. I think people forget that this is a business, folks. Like when you're talked about a lot, it's good. Sometimes it's good for business. For the most part, it's good for business. I will say the lure of the Eagles is bigger now than it's ever felt.
Been.
Yeah.
I've never, get this, playing against them, covering them, I have never seen the logo of the Philadelphia Eagles in my entire life. I have never in my life, Zander, seen it bigger and brighter than it is right now. Like, bro, you're one of the teams that teams talk about every single day. Nobody talked about you guys like that. It was Cowboys, Giants, Steelers, Rams, Bears. Nobody talked about. You know what? There was more conversation on the Redskins than there was on the
Commanders. Got new helmets.
What's that?
The Commanders got new uniforms.
No, they didn't. If you look at the wait.
Oh, I'm looking at it. Yeah, they're the same.
Okay, look at the uniforms.
Yeah,
it looked like the Washington Redskin uniforms.
Why does the world allow themselves to be treated like toddlers?
Look at the uniforms.
Congratulations. They
somebody pointed it out to me. They go, Sills, did you see the Commanders' new uniforms? I go, they're not new uniforms. They're Washington. They're the same colors as the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Folks, take a look at this. Okay. You're telling me that's not the Washington Redskins? Those are the Washington Redskins colors.
I know.
Okay. Those are the same colors.
I guess people like the spear on the helmet.
Yeah, because you know why? They had one like that in 1970.
Yeah, what is that? The Indian tribe that they had to get away from, so they changed their name.
Actually, the Indian tribe wants them to go back to the logo. The guy,
of course they do, because they weren't offended. It's only the blue-haired idiots in America that apparently we placate to.
And they would get a percentage of the sales of merchandise on it too. And so that's what the Seminole Indians in Florida does when Florida State.
Right.
Florida State, they use the Seminoles. They make some money on that. Yeah, you see that.
I like the black. I'm with you, Doan. The black looks good.
You see the black with the spear? Zander, was a helmet that the Redskins had back in the day. It was yellow, and it was it was an R circled, and they had like that, and they also had that single when Jerkinson played. So that's all this stuff is Washington Redskins gear.
Do you think they still own all the trademarks and everything for the Redskins?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Well, they should go back to it.
Actually, there's a guy who owns the Twitter page of Washington Redskins. If you go to it, and the Redskins are so pissed because this guy posts information with Washington Redskins, and the Commanders are pissed at it on X. This guy's got the account, and they're not affiliated in any way on the X account. They don't own that. This guy owns it.
Wow.
And they've tried buying it from him, and he's like, yeah, no. And so every time he posts something on there, it looks official from the Washington Redskins.
Is it Washington Redskins or just Redskins?
I think it's Washington Redskins this guy owns. Or maybe they did end up getting it from him. Maybe they did get it from him. They may have gotten it from him. Because there was one that had like 1.4 million on it. So you may be right. They may have bought it finally and shut it down. Because there was a guy years ago who had it.
All right, Sills, good show, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate you very much, man. Thank you, my friend. Don't forget, folks, check him out, Birds 365 in the morning. Thank you, bro.
Later, dude. Appreciate it.
You got it. That is Big Z. Make sure you catch him out in the morning. Let's pay some bills. And also, Adam Kaplan's going to join us in a couple minutes. My friends, don't forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It's because they win. I tell you all the time, family-owned, family-run, John and Ultima Morgan have started this company over 25 years ago. And without a doubt, my friends, this is a company that wins and goes and does their best for you and your family. I tell you about the family in Pennsylvania that was initially offered $650K. They end up getting nearly $30 million in settlement. Or the family in Florida that got initially offered $350K. They ended up getting nearly $12 million in settlement. Go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or Pound Law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Adam Kaplan's going to join us in a couple minutes. We appreciate you coming aboard with us. Please hit the like button. Indeed. I can't wait to see what they do at 23. The reason that I'm going with Sadiq is because in that Matt LaFleur offense, the #1 weapon is the tight end. And that's where he's coming from. He's coming from that offense in what LaFleur did by getting the tight end. Now, remember something, too. You're talking about threatening the middle of the field. So, for me, the #1 thing, listen, Tommy, offensive line for the Eagles without Jeff Stoutland in the building, I'm suspect on that. And if you draft, and listen, Zander and I are going to have a disagreement on this because if I'm drafting an O-lineman, you're not getting anything out of the player this year. I think the Eagles need to improve their football team at multiple places. Why not draft a position where you could get immediate need? Edge, safety, tight end, potentially wide receiver, depending on what A.J. Brown is. Okay? I mean, here. Best player available for us at 23. Proctor Ione will most likely be gone. Okay, well, Denny, if they're gone, aren't you looking for an impact guy? You're trying to find an impact player in this draft. I don't really think that there's impact dudes outside of the top 13 players. This is the I heard Eric DeCosta and I listened to that soundbite. Eric DeCosta says there's not 200 players in this draft. And you draft like 257 guys. There's not 200 guys in this draft that are draftable. And you're telling me you think at 23, you're finding an impact guy? You're not finding an impact guy. You're finding a good player. Hey, look, and you're finding it. The problem is on offense, you're tied to contracts. The only guy you're going to be able to have any impact in the O-line is it's two spots, right guard and right tackle. I heard someone say on YouTube channel, I watch a lot of GMs hate this draft. I've heard a lot of people say they don't think this draft's got a lot of talent in it. And definitely he's been seeing these other young GMs flaunting. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I think they believe in the offensive roster. Hey, Yale, I think the offensive roster is overrated and overpaid. Two things you don't want to hear if you're a general manager. I think it's overpaid and I think it's overrated. Okay? Now, here's the one thing you got to remember, too, about this next week. You're going to hear and see so many stories about potential players that you might like. Don't believe everything you read and hear, because agents are going to be putting a ton of shit out right now. They're going to be putting a ton of stuff out right now when it comes to trying to drop players in the draft. So you're going to see a ton of things said about certain guys. We just saw one recently with Reuben Bain. That story has been known for over a year and a half about the traffic accident. I knew that a year and a half ago that he was involved in that. I got a call from Melvin Bratton, and Tolbert, his uncle, wanted to know again. And I said, take accountability. Take accountability in it. Don't run from it and say, no, yeah, I'm guilty. Hey, don't run from things like that, because one of the things that you get when you get interviewed and you go to the combines and you've got something like this, they're going to immediately look for your response and how you handle this. Hey, what about the traffic accident? What, just give us your side of it and what you think. Hey, man, I told him it's my fault. I was at the wheel. Poor decision-making. It was 4 a.m. in the morning. There was no alcohol. I was just distracted. We were having a fun time. We were coming back from a get-together. And I knew this. And I told him that. I said, don't run from it. And then the questions got a little shady, because what happened when I said, don't lose your patience. Don't lose your patience at the combines, because they're going to ask you this question 100 times. Yeah, I feel horrible about it, Yale. That's correct. I said, hey, show contrition, and own. I can't tell you enough. When you get people asking this question to you and you're at the combines and that interview and you're Ruben Bain, I told Tolbert Bain, who I played with at the University of Miami, and I told Tolbert, both of them, I said, with a story like that, you have to own it and show contrition. You're going to be peppered and hammered by every single scout because the interview is one of the most important things. Remember, back in the day, before we get Adam Kaplan, I want to bring this one last thing up. I remember Jeff Ireland asking this question to Des Bryant. How long has your mom been a prostitute? Now, you can't ask these questions anymore like that. But back in the day, they were waiting to see. He wasn't meaning anything wild. He was wanting to see how Des was going to answer. Was he going to get emotional? Was he going to lose his poise? You got to play the game here. Jerry Angelo asked me if I have any mob members in my family. I told him, hey, if I did, I wouldn't be sitting here. Everyone laughed. So let's bring in our friend. I can't wait to hear what he says about the draft in 7 days. And boy, I'll tell you what, I built up a friendship with this man, and I got nothing but phenomenal respect for Adam Kaplan. He joins us right now, and we appreciate him coming aboard. Adam, thank you so much. Those interviews can be wild. They're not quite as wild as they used to be, right?
In fact, when Ireland, Dan, good to be with you. When Ireland said what he said, it got out. It got out, and the league actually sent out a memo. In fact, I think I might have had the memo when it came out, but it made it clear you can't do that. And that's interesting. That wait, who? Oh, you said. Did you say Jerry Angelo, the former Bears GM?
Yeah, because he was in Tampa. He was in Tampa.
Yeah.
And he asked me. I was doing my interview, and he goes, "Hey, you have any mob members in your family?" I go, "If I had mob members in my family, I wouldn't be sitting here." He started laughing. I go, "By the way, your name ends in 02."
Exactly. So how about that? That's unbelievable, dude. The legendary Jerry Angelo. But it's an interesting time. Yeah, these pre-draft interviews, and you mentioned the Ruben Bain situation. Anytime there's a fairly significant issue off the field, you better have your story straight, and like the clubs have to feel good about it. Like you've got your life in order. You owned it, as you were talking about before I got on here. Like I know, I cover 32 teams, but I have the company with Jeff Mosher Inside the Birds, and I remember in our reporting on Jalen Carter, I mean there were some crazy stories. I mean, high school teammates had a problem with him. About the unfortunate situation off the field where someone lost their life. And it's just, you really wondered, but the Eagles felt comfortable because they knew everything. They felt that over time it would be okay. They could handle them. You have to have the infrastructure when you take in someone with an off the field problem. I mean, there's been so many of these stories over the years with guys who have had off the field problems, and sometimes they can't beat it, Dan. They just cannot. It could be their upbringing, family structure. The clubs have to know this, by the way. Like it's their job to know this stuff of can they handle a lot of money? That's a big deal for clubs, as you know. Yep. Is how you're going to handle money when you get it.
For me, I can't remember the kid's name from Nebraska that got caught smoking weed, and he was a defensive edge rusher. And I remembered one of the things I go, listen, I'm gonna be okay if a guy fails a drug test, not multiple, but when you're failing a drug test going into the combines, when your agent tells you, hey, they're gonna drug test you and give you a urinalysis test, you could smoke after. That to me is decision making, right? You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you $12 million, and you want Randy something, I think his name was. He was an edge rusher guy, and I'm going like
Randy Gregory.
And I'm like, dude, you knew going in they were going to give you a piss test. That to me is a red flag because that's decision-making stuff. Would you gamble on Bain if he fell down to the Eagles? I don't think he's going to fall down to 23, but would you gamble on him and take him? They need that position too.
Well, for Philly, they did well. They could open up the season with what they have, but on your point, they're looking for an upgrade. That's what they wanted Jalen Phillips back. So it is a factor. His short arm length is a factor. Like I guess the family, so I mean I understand it, but that sure arm length, man, that's a big deal. That's a big deal because if you're in a 43 front, if you're a stand up edge, if you're an overhang player in a 34 like the Eagles run, if you're playing on the right side, you're going against the left offensive tackle. If that guy's got 34, 35-inch arms, you're not beating him.
You have to play on the weak side, don't you think, Adam? If you have with shorter arms, wouldn't you put him on the weak side?
You could play him at the power end at the left side.
Yeah.
Side's usually called what you do is the power end is usually the lesser of the pass rusher.
Yeah.
AJ Epinesa is a great example. AJ Epinesa out of Iowa was a really good college football player, but he was not a great edge rusher. So the belief around the league was he's got to be a left defensive end. You go up against the right tackle, maybe you could win because the left is the athletic tackle. It's usually the better protector. Now, sometimes the right tackle is the right tackle sometimes is the better tackle. It just depends on the team. But when I got brought up in the league, it's one of the first things I was taught. I never heard of a power end, and I didn't understand that. And then you talk to more people that kind of all say it, and it still mostly holds true. But yeah, it's for Philly. Yeah, Dan, I know they made the playoffs, but they have a number of needs. They have like 7 of them, to be honest with you.
Tell me them.
Well, right now on my needs board, I do it for 32 teams, but for Philly, yes, edge rusher because they want an upgrade. The upgraded edge rusher. Bill Polian always told me that. He would always laugh because he always said you never pass up an upgrade. And I said, what about Peyton Manning? He goes, we never can get an upgrade, so he's always our quarterback.
Yeah.
How are you going to get one, right? But yeah, so what they need is now again, the draft is about the future. It's very little about this season. Remember, 25% of a rookie contract's year 1, 75% of it is years 2 through 4. So obviously it's about the draft. It's about the future, not so much about this season. Philly needs another safety to go to next to Drew Makuba. They don't have a starting safety opposite him right now, so they need one. Reek Woolen's on a 1-year deal. It's worth $12 million. Now he's only on a 1-year deal. Seahawks were not going to bring him back. They actually were very active in trying to move him at the trade deadline. Thankfully for them, they didn't. They won a Super Bowl with him, but he's now an Eagle. So they need a future at right cornerback, no doubt about that. A tight end, they have a lot of them. They could open up they're good for the season, but knowing Howie Roseman and the way he drafts and the way he thinks, he's not passing up Kenyon Sadiq if he's there.
Here, Adam. In my mock draft, I did 2 of them.
Okay.
I got Kenyon Sadiq going to the Eagles.
You think he'll make it there?
23. Huh? Do you think that's a viable opportunity for them to go there and get a playmaker, especially with the offensive coordinator? The offensive coordinator was up in Green Bay, and Tucker Kraft was a main focal point in that Green Bay offense, and that's where Mannion's coming from. That's how I tied that in.
All right, so think about it this way, Dan. The Eagles have 7 tight ends on our contract, so they don't need one for this season. Goddard's back at $7 million. They fully guaranteed the $7 million. He's their starter. Johnny Munt will be their wide tight end. That's why they brought him in. He's only playing the West Coast system. He's an old school wide tight end, inline blocker. That's why he turns 32 later this year, but he's still in the league because he can block. Calcaterra's on a 1-year deal. Goddard, Munt, Stone Smart is on a 1-year deal. Cam Latu is on the final year of his deal, and EJ Jenkins and Jaheim Bell got 2-year deals, but they're not going to make the team. So they don't have a star of the future. Now, Howie talked about this in his press conference. You grade by tiers. Every team, by the way, Howie didn't talk about this, but I will. Every team does the same thing. You take let's say there's a quality right tackle who could replace Lane Johnson, Dan. Do you take that guy who might be, let's say, your 7th graded tackle on your 2nd tier, or the top tight end by far in a deep tight end draft? He's a 1-tier tight end. It's Kenyon Sadiq and everybody else. And knowing the way Howie looks at it, this kid, as one coach told me, is that he's the best tight end he's graded in 10 years.
Wow.
He said Bowers is an absolute athletic freak, but he's not the all-around tight end this Sadiq could block, by the way. There's just been, anyone who watches the tape will tell you, so they've told me this kid could block. He's not elite, but he's good. He's solid. So, yeah, Philly, I mean, I'm looking at here, Lane Johnson, yeah, his future replacement, A.J. Brown, sooner or later, if he's not traded by June 2nd, by contract, I just don't see any way he's going back in 27, one way or the other. The guaranteed money expires after the season. And then the other thing is guard situation, Landon Dickerson's future. Tyler Steen was average on the offensive line at right guard. So honestly, they have so many needs.
I love this guy here. He's giving you guys a lot of love here, saying how much he's learned from you guys, you and Jeff and Greg and you and obviously Greg Cosell. You guys, he's taught you a lot. We appreciate that, Jerry, very much. So thank you very much. I love that. Okay, well, let me ask you this other question here. Do you think Jalen Hurts, after this year, if they don't give him a contract extension, do you believe that Jalen Hurts in 2026, it's a show-me year for them, or they're moving on from him?
Well, what they'll do is they'll go through the season in this new scheme, which forces him to throw the ball on time. You and I have talked about this before. He's got a major problem with it. The tape confirms it. It's not really an arguable point. The tape tells you. It shows you that he often holds on the ball too long, which is part of AJ's problem with the passing game. They don't get it on time enough. They'll go through the season, and they're going to have to come to the point here. They should be a playoff team, even if they trade Brown. And they'll add somebody, by the way, at some point that's of some significance if they trade Brown. But if Hurts is the reason, like he was in 22, that they're making a Super Bowl run, he's getting it, they're going to extend his contract. If it's not, and his guaranteed money, by the way, is gone, he could be moved. And now I'll tell you, there will be some teams interested in him. I've had enough talks with folks around the league, Dan, that they understand his challenges, but leadership, toughness, mental toughness, by the way, is off the charts.
A strong market, Adam?
I wouldn't say that, but there'll be a market for him. There'll be a market for him. If the Eagles are willing to trade him in 27, which, again, as you set it up here, it depends how the season plays out. It could go a variety of ways, but they need to start winning because of him, which they haven't done the last 3 seasons.
A.J. Brown, you mentioned him. I've been reporting because I've been telling you, and I've had a conversation with you before that Alonzo Highsmith told me, works with Elliot Wolf, that, the Patriots seemingly are off on a 2 and a 3, and Howie wants a 1 and a 2. Is A.J. Brown worth a 1 and a 2 in your opinion?
No. Is he worth a 1? Yes. But here's the thing. The Patriots are picking 31st. And let me explain something to folks. I have to remind people this every year. You know this, but it's very important we explain this. There are 32 picks in the first round, right, of every NFL draft. There are maybe 18 to 20 first-round grades given out by clubs. We call them universal first-round grades. Every team has a different draft board. But if you talk to clubs as I do, you're trying to figure out how good is this first round. It's not a very good first round. So honestly, if I'm Howie, I'll take a 1 for next year. Give me a 5 and we're good. Okay? Give me a 5 for this year. Give me a 1 for next year. The Patriots are not getting back to the Super Bowl with this roster. Now, Elliot's son of the great Ron Wolf. He's very sharp. And by the way, we reported this 3 years ago. The Patriots called the Eagles and tried to get Brown from, this is well before Vrabel got there.
Yep.
Okay. AJ, I mean, it's funny. You got Vrabel, the receivers coach Todd Downing were with him in Tennessee. Elliott loves him. It's just that, as a Patriots source told me, Howie is so far out of what he wants, it's not even a discussion. Now, the Patriots, I know they brought in Romeo Doubs. Okay, nice player. He's a nice number 2 receiver, maybe more of a number 3. Maybe they think better of it, but that's the way I've been told around the league he is. He's really a better 3. Kayshon Bouttie's a decent player. Is he starting quality? I know they got the Super Bowl, but don't you want to upgrade in a major way over those guys? Come on. AJ's still an X receiver, number 1. He's got 2 good years left in him. But that's why I think it's crazy. Asking for 1 and 2 is just insane. Like that. Now, once we get to June 2nd, let's say we get through the draft and there's no deal done. Well, obviously, it's financially responsible for under the cap to move AJ on June 2nd. So they could do what's called the post-June split. You split the cap hit over 2 years.
Spread them over 2 years.
Yeah. It's been going on. I remember the PA they were trying to figure out a way, Dan, and I don't know how much it's really worked. They're in the CBA, whatever year that was, it might have been in 06. They're like, what can we do to get you guys to cut these guys earlier? You're going to get, here's what we're going to do. And the club said yes. If you start cutting players earlier, we're gonna help you with a cap. We're gonna help your cap so you could split the cap hit on our veterans that still want to play, but they have a huge cap hit. And that's actually what happened. I remember I was, as much as I think I know the cap and contracts, I was like, this is really interesting. I didn't quite understand it back then because when you start covered league for a couple of years, you got to learn this stuff. But there is an advantage to it. And it's kind of like I called it a tariff. I said, if you're going to, like Howie's kind of like, if you're going to force me to make this trade now, you're going to pay for it. That's kind of the way I look at it. But at June 1st, on June 2nd, the cap hit is not that bad. The Eagles are in pretty good cap shape. 1 and 2 is absolutely insane. He's not that. He's 29. By the way, he turns 29 in June to be 30 next year. Come on, man. Ridiculous.
Absolutely here. Do you think this is a draft, Adam, where you're going to see teams, if you have another dance partner, you're going to see a lot of trading down? Do you think this is a trade down draft, or do you think it's
I don't see a lot of teams wanting to trade up, man. I look at the guys that I believe are first round grades, and I'll learn more next week, but Mendoza, obviously, or I might have told you this the last time I was on. I had a coach tell me, in January, because his team was out of the playoffs and his team's looking for a quarterback. He goes, he's a nice quarterback. He said, if this is a good draft with 4 to 6 quarterbacks in the first round, he's going in the 20s. But when a team needs a quarterback, you got to have one, and the Raiders are going to take one. But
would Arch Manning go number 1 if he was in this draft?
I don't think so. I don't think he's there yet. He's a quality prospect. We need to see more out of him.
Okay.
Well, and it also depends on who's, like, in this draft. Is he a better prospect than Mendoza? Yes. But I also thought Garrett Nussmeier 2 years ago was the man, and this season he was hurt though. He was hurt, and he's a fascinating guy. We'll get back to him in a minute, but between Mendoza, Reese, Sonny Styles, by the way, I had a coach tell me, and I forget. I don't know if he was a sign linebacker. I forget, but anyway, this guy said he could be the best player in this draft in 3 years. He's that skilled. He hasn't played it for very long, linebacker. He's incredible.
He's my favorite player in the draft.
I can't disagree with it because his upside, I know it's a term that a lot of us don't like, but the future for him is incredible. I'm interested to see where he goes. And Jeremiah Love is probably the best player for this draft right now, who's camera ready to go in to be a 3-down back. He's the closest thing we have to Bijan Robinson. I understand his playing style is different, but in terms of absolutely positively safe 3-down back, you cannot go wrong. It would be this kid. But honestly, it's hard to find 15 players who Kenny Sadiq is one of the top 10 players for this draft.
I thought there were 13 guys in this draft, Adam. I think
13? Who do you got?
I try to tell people that if you think there's 32 guys in every draft, like 83, not even close to this thing here. And so, to me, would you agree with this, Adam? From around 14 or 15 to around maybe 60, these guys are all the same.
Kind of, yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. This is on your point. You're like, well, you want more teams to trade down, but here's the thing. Unless guys drop, Bay may drop because of his length and the off the field issue. If he drops, then you got the size issue, right? Like Jahad Campbell, Eagles were never thinking about Jahad Campbell last year. That wasn't even on the radar, but his grade was so much higher than where he was going. They're like, okay, we know what his issues are. He had a shoulder injury, he had a knee problem. Okay, we get why he's dropping. We'll trade up for him. They didn't have to trade very far. They got him, if there's something like that happens. But if you're like on your point, if you're the Jets, right? Okay. If you're the Jets they pick it too, but if you're the Jets at 16, and I know that their new GM or the relatively new GM, Darren Muji's he was a trading fool last year. I just don't think you and I are in agreement. This is not a good spot to be at 16. I would look to trade down, but again, who would trade up? Sadiq to me would be a guy. If he gets to 20, because the Cowboys are not drafting tight end, they have Ferguson. And now there are a couple teams like Carolina could take him. After that, Detroit is good. They've got their tight end come back from a back injury, but there are a lot of teams that don't need tight ends in the teams. By the way,
Nussmeier, with one of those third-round picks, if you're the Eagles, would you draft him?
We've said on Inside the Birds that though they have 3 quarterbacks, remember McKee and Dalton are up after the season, and we're not surprised us at all if they drafted a quarterback. Now, when they drafted Hurts, Dan, it was you literally, because I was in my office, this is where I do radio and TV, but I was around my office around the corner there, and I was not watching it. And I got all sorts of crazy texts. I'm like, what are they? Exclamation point. Oh my God. And I look, dude, and I'm like, this can't be this can't be right. And I had to do radio and TV after that. And plus with Jeff on Inside the Birds, I was texting someone with their front office. I said, hey, I need to know what the hell's going on here. Cause I want to be fair, but second round is a starter round. The starter rounds, Dan, as I was taught in the early 2000s, first Pro Bowl ever starter. He better be, or you're probably going to get it wrong. You don't want an intermediate starter. You want a great starter. I know, again, there's not 32 great players in the first round, but second mid-level starter, third round bottom of the barrel starter, fourth round high-end backup, very low-end starter. You're drafting a quarterback in the second round. That guy's going to be a starter for you. But the Eagles did it because they want to try something different, out of the box, and see what would happen with Wentz's injury history. Remember, they extended Wentz's contract 10 months before that. So this was not about – people said we were lying. They accused us of being shills. We're not shills. We're explaining it to you. This is why they did it. I don't agree with it. I thought it was dumb. Now, they got lucky. It's like the reverse luck. They didn't want Wentz to go south and want to be traded and have a terrible relationship with the club and ask out. He has to be traded more than once. They didn't want that, and he was so scared he was so upset that they drafted Hurts. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. But Howie's interesting. You'd never quite know with him. Right when you think you figure him out, he does something crazy.
2 last questions here, Adam.
Yep.
Howie Roseman as a drafter, do you think, because when I looked at his drafts early on from 2010 to I was like this. When I first started covering the Eagles, I went, this guy is not a very good talent evaluator. He's just not. But then when you look at the trades after Rager, man, bam,
really good. Yeah.
Bam, bam. What changed for him?
So it's so funny.
What turned him into being that guy?
Yeah. I don't know if you knew this, but that was the subject of our 1,000%. That was the subject of our show this morning. It dropped at 6 a.m. How did Howie turn it around? The biggest one we found out from people we've spoken to was football character. One person used to work for Howie told me that what hurts a lot of guys that didn't play the game. There aren't a lot of them. Most have played the game in the NFL. Is they don't have the locker room feel. You played the game. You don't understand football character. It's hard to get that if you didn't play.
Yep.
And you have to have a feel for it. I don't know what it is, but you make a good point. He had full personnel control for the first time in his year in 2016 when he got reinstated after his hiatus. And he was very inconsistent starting in 16 through 20. And you mentioned the Rager draft. And then the other one is he stopped what I call framing picks. In 2020, we reported in March they're going to draft Rager over Jefferson. People thought there's no way you're right? We didn't have access to his draft book. We knew they were drafting. Howie's going to overdraft for speed. He doesn't frame first round picks anymore. Like in 2019, he framed Andre Dillard. I had heard that absolutely they're drafting left tackle. I didn't know it was going to be Dillard. They're finally going to replace Jason Peters, so they're going to draft him here. Didn't know it was Andre Dillard. That was a mistake. You can't do that. Just go by what your board tells you, like Ozzie Newsome would say.
Yeah.
My board you go by your value. You stack your board and you go by it. Your vertical board that Howie's talking about. So yeah, he doesn't do that anymore.
Finally here, I can just sense talking to you. You remind me of Jimmy Johnson and how you look at players. You don't look at the back of the name of the jersey. You look at a profile of what that team needs. And so for me asking you, who would you take at 23, or what would you do if you were the Eagles at 23? I'm going to ask you a profile of player that you think this team needs for them to be successful, and maybe a guy who can make an impact on your football team this year. What profile of a player do you think that team needs for it to be a guy, and maybe a position if you want to go down that lane? Tell me what you think they need to get an upgrade to help the football team.
All right, the upgrade. Well, again, it's about the future and who's under contract and who's not. But the guy that fits totally would it be Kenyon Sadiq at 23. He just, I understand it. Depth, as I always told people, has nothing to do with how many players you have. It's the quality of the player. This guy will start for you, no doubt, no question, 8 to 10 years. Whereas Kyle Pitts is maybe the highest graded tight end. He hasn't played like that, but come to be in draft in 20 years. This kid Sadiq is not far behind. Now, again, Kyle Pitts has not lived up to the hype.
Yep.
It would be hard to. He's had a knee injury.
He had a pretty good year last year, though.
He's better. He was better, and he needed to on a contract year. But
Yep.
he's nowhere near the player a lot of us thought.
Yep.
Now, anyone you're drafting in the first round, again, it's got to be a starter for many, many years. I would look at it at this. The kind of player that they can get at 23, whether it's Messidor, the corner from Miami. Remember, DeJean is still a nickel. Nichols, Vic Fangio says, is not a cornerback. It's not. I was like, what is he talking about? But he explained it. It's an inside player.
Yeah.
A corner is an outside player. So he doesn't look at nickel, corner is corner, and safety is safety.
Yep.
So they don't have it. Unless they're going to move DeJean a corner, then Messidor would be a great pick. He would be a starter next to Quinyon Mitchell. Think about it. They haven't gotten this right since, quite frankly, Leto Shepard. I know Leto said to pronounce it Leto. I used to call him Leto, but it's Leto. And Sheldon Brown, who was a third rounder, which is it's a below average starter usually. For Philly, for that particular team, I think they do really well if they got him. I don't see Caleb Downs making it. They do need a safety. I don't believe Carnell and Tate will make it. Although I had one receivers coach tell me he doesn't care about injuries because it's not his job to grade that. That's for the GM and the team doctors. He's got Tyson as his number one receiver for the draft. I thought that was interesting.
Man, I love that you went with Sadiq because that's where I'm going to. I think that's a playmaking guy. Adam, please tell the folks where they can find your fabulous show. I get so many people they were thrilled to death you were coming on, and I know that you are really busy and all. Thank you so much for coming on for us, man.
Yeah, at Inside the Birds is our show. Jeff and I started this company 9 years ago. First couple were tough. I had to figure out this podcasting thing out as a bitch, but it's blossomed, and we have a Patreon channel, which has done really well, which we're happy with. You can get everything commercial free. Cosell and I do stuff. We've had John DiFilippo on a number of times privately with our members, who's now back at Kansas as a full-time member.
Yep.
We're trying to get Mike Mamola on soon for our people. Tommy Gamble I want to get on. Tom's an old friend. We get all these people who used to work for the Howie, former players, coaches.
Adam, you should get one of my friends on. I'll send you the number. You should get Kevin Colbert on.
Kevin Colbert, really?
Yeah,
wow.
I'll send you the number. You should get him on.
Hey, I must run. I got something at 6, but
Gotcha,
thanks,
my
man.
friend. Thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate
thanks,
you,
man.
brother.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You got it. That's my friend Adam Kaplan. Absolutely awesome there. I love to hear that. And I love to hear the fact that he went Kenyon Sadiq. Absolutely. All right, my friends, do me a favor. Please check out my friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. It is because they win. That's right. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. That's FOR, thepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529 to do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce. Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face. Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the jet setters and the high rollers, to the shot takers and the tastemakers. Welcome to the viewfinders, the thrill seekers, and the night owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Kenyon Sadiq. Hey, by the way, thank you guys very much. The show here, what you guys have done has made it so possible for me to have that show on Sports Grid. We just got word now. Over 4 million people have watched that thing in 10 weeks. And we appreciate that very much. And I think they're going to be moving the show to the weekdays. I'm not sure yet, but just to keep everything in context, we'll keep you updated on that. And also to the radio show right now, he's #1 in Tampa. So guys, thank you. We are within a week, okay, of the NFL draft. Hit the like button. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 to 6. We'll see you on the flip side.